Testing. Check, check. 1, 2. Syphilis. Are we live? I think we're live, friends. Welcome. Welcome to Virtual Strangers 138.5. Or is it 138 v 1.1? At any rate, I am your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Ruuts. Ruuts, feels a little off, don't it?
Yeah, everything sounds off to me. I'm trying to find
check,
the
1, 2.
I've got a I think this is it. I found it, Wes. Oh my god, no, this is not it. I gotta find the source. I've got a stream here
138.5
going,
or is it 138?
and I can't
What
find
did you
the
lose
source.
your sources, right? Did it break out? I see your sources, I see your scenes. What are you looking for?
I found it. No, okay, so let me tell you. I had a scene going, and or at least I guess the show, and I had the pop out chat, which is gone now, and I couldn't get to the actual source to turn the volume off. I forgot to mute the stream because sometimes it comes back on. And
I got you.
I was spending that whole time during the intro scrambling, trying to find it. Couldn't find it. Finally found it. I can sigh of relief. Oh my god! And God is good. So yeah. Other than that, I agree. It feels like something was weird for a little bit there, but I think we're good.
It's a lot to keep up with when you have two desktops and then more shit than you can fit on two desktops, right?
Yeah. Well, and then I've got so many scenes open right now, or I guess I keep saying scenes, but websites, web pages for all the different news things, each one separate. So it just looks like 50 things open, and trying to find the right one.
I got to imagine so, because as I was trying to convey Sunday before we unceremoniously had to go off the air, man, do we have some news to talk about this week? The headlines is enough to be a show all in itself. And for a brief moment when I was putting the show together, I thought, maybe we should just do headlines. Like maybe the show should just be headlines every week, and then we go from headlines into reminders without even having featured stories. And then it occurred to me, how are we going to talk about all these awesome new games if we don't do featured stories? So every now and then, I guess we're just going to have to bite the bullet and do a long show. But with that said, when we did postpone the show, my biggest fear is that, all right, now we're going on a day, 2 days later, there's totally going to be more news that gets added in. And thankfully, when I got up and I checked upload this morning, nothing notable that we didn't already have on Sunday. So our lineup here is still fresh. It's still pertinent. And actually, a couple of the things that we're going to report on Sunday, upload has now done stories on. So like they're actually catching up to us as opposed to vice versa. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, everything happens for a reason, all for the glory of God is what I say. And I just say roll with it. You know what I mean? Some of the best things in life you don't know are coming, and they're right around the corner, Wes.
Roll with it, baby. That's what we're doing here, man. We're rolling with it. We were going to do the makeup show yesterday, but Ruuts had an internet tech coming in yesterday, and I had to work last night, and we decided that Tuesday would be a more suitable day, as typically I'm off work on Tuesday. But wouldn't you know it, for the first time in 6 months, maybe even closer to a year, they've called me in on my day off tonight to go in and do overtime. So it's a bit of a weird day for me. I basically spent all day sleeping today just so I could do a good show and then head straight out to work. But we're here, we're doing it live, and as long as the thing don't fall apart at the seams again, I think we're going to have a good show.
I think it's good. I've had 2 nights of streams in a row and nothing's bad's been happening, so I think we're good.
Excellent. Good to hear. Anyway, I guess we should go ahead and kick it into gear and say hello to our friends in chat. As I mentioned before, we have a lot to cover and a finite amount of time to cover it in. So let's start by saying hello to Technoglitch and shouting out Technoglitch as our newest patron. Thank you, Technoglitch. It's very much appreciated. We do not have you in the outro crawl yet, but I assure you by the time next week rolls around, I want to do a new one, Ruuts. I want to do a new one But in lieu of that, we did find a happy solution for Chinatown D, who was our new patron last week. I do have a stopgap to tide us over until I get a new outro made. But Technoglitch won't be on that. Well, maybe we can get him in for tomorrow. But nonetheless, we appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for the support.
Absolutely. Techno glitch. We definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely. And you know, I said it a couple of weeks ago, man, that like it's awesome. You know, when you compare our numbers to the numbers of some of the other more recognized VR news sources on YouTube, like we pale in comparison to them, except Patreon. Our Patreon is now getting around 25, and I know some of these bigger ones only have like around 30. So, and I'm talking about people who have 10 times the subscriber base that we have, might have 5 more patrons than we have, and I think that's awesome. And again, appreciate all the support from our awesome community.
Dude, we have the best community. And get this, think about this, Wes. You didn't even take into consideration that Mash is telling, basically he says D's still working right now. What I read was stop bothering D. She's doing my timestamps right now, because he's been throwing videos at her big time.
Yeah, if she wants to put timestamps on everything that they do on the QTC YouTube channel, then she's going to be a very busy person. At least my wife gets some kind of a break. I mean, she does have to do a really long list of timestamps once a week, but besides that, it's pretty smooth sailing for her.
That's true. Well, we appreciate everybody's help. The whole community is awesome. I guess that's my point. Is you guys rock.
Absolutely. Ray Delator's here. Hello. As is Wolveraza. Mash is in the chat as well. What's up, bro?
Boognish. What's up, Boognish?
Hey, what's up, Boognish? How's it going? Onakazi is here, as is Bluebell. Says good evening, gents. Good evening to you. Mepper's here, as is Kyle Kitchings. Cubo 92. Cubo, I didn't actually. Cubo left a comment the other day. I meant to respond to it, and I forgot. Cubo, the reason why you got a number on that was because we were drawing the winner of the Anshar 2 giveaway, which we're going to announce the winner of later tonight. But I will say this now. The winner already knows that they have won and has already been given the key to the game. So congratulations. You know who you are. We'll announce that during the reminder segment later. Dark Angel's here. Always good to see Dark Angel. Mind Jive is here as well. Michelle B, Dracurius, Mark Caldwell. We have a pretty good crew showing up on this impromptu Tuesday night. Radio Ruts here. Always good to see Radio Run. Oh, yeah. Decepticon is in the house. Traveling Man 3775. Most of the fam. Spry Guy's even up there, man. What's up, Spry Guy? So yeah, Four Wheeling's here. And XX Silver. XX. Pretty good little crew for a Tuesday night. Bro, I don't think I'm ever going to get a stream again. Like, shit just keeps happening week after week after week. Yeah, and it's been, I think this will make a month solid now that I've missed live streaming.
Wow.
With that said, you know, we do have a lot of great content. Atypically great schedule. I didn't mean that either as typically. I mean atypically. Our schedule is not typical this week. We have good stuff coming up, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later.
Yeah, before we go into the meat of it, I just wanted to pat myself on the back for predicting three points by the Rams winning by 3. This is one of the last things I said before the stream cut out. Was what was going to happen. You actually pinned me down from 7 to 3, and now I realize why I was torn, because it was going to be 7 to get the 3. So other than that was cool.
And we even said it. You even said it last week on the show that it was going to be 3 points, and you said that people would be coming back this week and saying, "Why didn't we listen to Roots? Why didn't we put money down? Rams by 3." And had they listened to you at that point, they could have made a lot of money on that game.
Yep.
So good on anyone who listened to my my friend Roots here, and shame on you if you did not.
And if you did, send me and Wes a cut because we kind of helped
No,
you
that
out.
maybe techno glitch. Maybe that's why he's joining the Patreon. Maybe we're getting
Oh,
our cut here.
yeah. I think it's because he's been kicking ass in marbles lately. His marble is just on fire.
This marble's on fire. All right, bro. Talking about on fire, these headlines are on fire. Let's kick it into gear the way we typically do. Let's talk a little bit about the metaverse slash industry headlines, and then we'll work our way into some gaming news. Tobii in negotiation to supply PSVR 2's eye tracking tech. This was kind of the big story last week because, as you know, typically anything that has to do with PlayStation VR 2 is the big story because it's the most exciting thing in VR right now. But this is kind of bittersweet. And you know, obviously Tobii is the kind of it's been the state of the art with eye tracking for years at this point. Any high-end PCVR headset that wants to integrate eye tracking into its hardware pretty much does so by implementing Tobii eye tracking. So that's good. If the PSVR 2 eye tracking is Tobii eye tracking, then we know it's going to work well. Uh, the thing that's kind of worrisome about it is we're expecting an announcement anytime as to when we're going to be able to pre-order this thing. And if they're in negotiations now to kind of settle the eye tracking tech that's in it, it raises a whole lot of questions. Like, have they been working with it already and they're just trying to negotiate the license? Or is really the final design of the headset still in the air? Because if that's the case, I would say that it's likely not coming this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Which doesn't make sense with everything else that we've been hearing outside of even the rumors, which seem to be pretty credible. I don't know because I want them probably. But it doesn't. The thing is that some of the news we're talking about is other headsets today, and they're out there and they're on the prowl, right? And Sony knows that it has to come out this year. I just keep sticking to that. So I would say I'm going to bet with that they're just solidifying that Tobii's going to be the person that, because it says right there that they're going to be the one that use the tech, right? That they're using their tech because nobody else can do it. But I bet they're going to pay a lot for it.
I agree that that's probably the most likely scenario is that they've been, working in the laboratory with the Tobii stuff for years at this point. And what they're negotiating is an actual commercial licensing agreement so that Tobii can get their cut of every headset that's sold. That is probably the most likely scenario. And I imagine that it's a pretty big deal. You're basically licensing this technology out for a period of 5 to 7 years that this headset's going to be in heavy use. So Tobii stands to make a lot of money from this agreement. Kind of weird that they waited so late into the development cycle to kind of nail this thing down. That really it gives Tobii a lot of negotiation leverage, right? Because they can really jam this whole thing up and hold out and make it very uncomfortable for Sony, who, like you said, wants to get their hardware out onto the market now because competitors aren't slowing down, right?
Yeah, they're out there, they're prowling, they're waiting, they want to be the next big headset. They're hoping this is the thing. Maybe my gut is telling me that Sony at some point, for whatever reason, they tried to do it themselves and they figured out they can't, and so now they're reluctantly going back to Tobii to get the licensing, right? So, but we'll see. I mean, we don't have that much longer to find out. I mean, if it is going to be released this year, we're going to be hearing something soon. And I forgot to remind you to shift your camera because of the
Oh yeah,
second
I
scene.
forgot.
Just so you're not all off kilter. There we go. But yeah, so I don't know. It's not too long till we'll know, right?
This thing is fucked. It's like zoomed in and everything. We'll try to adjust. There we go.
There we go.
All right.
Perfect. on the
Yeah,
fly.
but you got to think that Sony's feeling the pressure, right? Knowing that Cambria is coming, that Valve's working on something. All these different companies are you know, uh, wanting to build their version of the metaverse. I mean, I posted in the Discord about an hour ago. Bradley, or maybe it was a little bit longer than that. Bradley did a video today, basically saying that the Cambria headset from Meta is going to have facial haptics in it.
Oh,
So imagine that.
what a shock. You know, well, this is the question though. Will it solve the sickness, right? Because I think Sony's approach I think that's what Sony's doing with theirs. Part of it anyway. That's what I'm thinking. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the cool thing about it is there's more than one benefit to doing that. So it makes sense. It makes sense. If I were Meta, I would do the same thing. So yeah, I think um, hopefully Sony can be much more competitive from a pricing standpoint than Cambria. Although, you know, Facebook says that Cambria isn't really like part of the Quest line and that it's not meant to be like this commercial thing, but more of a high end thing. But you got to imagine as the Apple thing's coming out and the Sony headsets coming out that Cambria is probably going to be a lot bigger of a deal than they're letting on. And the tech moves fast, right? They also said that they weren't going to move on from Quest 1 too quickly, and we saw how that went. So,
yeah. Yeah. Well, saying something now and then taking it back later is very 2022. So, oops, sorry. We made a mistake. We are getting rid of Quest 2. And now we got Cambria.
Sergeant Frosty says that PSVR 2 will be able to read minds. Actually, that's the next Valve. That's the next Valve headset that's going to be able to do that.
Isn't Gabe? Didn't Gabe say he was interested in that technology? Right?
Oh, there's already a prototype, a Valve Index that has the BCI.
You're paranoid, bro.
Into it.
You're paranoid. What could happen? What bad could come from that? Like they just want to know, like how just good things, all peaceful, good things. They don't want your information. I swear.
They just want to know what to sell us, bro. That's all they want to know. What do you really want? As if they didn't already know what everyone really wants.
Yeah.
Anyway, a little bit more from the Sony front. You know, last week we were talking about the spec sheet that was given to us first from our friends at Without Parole, and then later from Jim Ryan at CES. And really, the only chink in the armor that we could find was the lenses, that they were moving to Fresnel lenses, and obviously with that comes the potential for God rays. And we were speculating that that maybe, hopefully, Sony takes a different approach to Fresnel lenses and is able to further decrease the amount of God rays that are visible in the headset. And almost as if on cue, right after we go off the air with this conversation, this headline drops. A Sony patent could bring next-gen Fresnel lenses to PSVR. So, Ruuts, it was pure speculation last week when we were talking about maybe Sony had some kind of special tech to for their Fresnel lenses that would mitigate glare and God rays. And then, you know, here it is. It's uncanny sometimes the way the news lines up with what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, you could almost say uncanny, or you could say Wes has his thumb on the pulse of VR, and so you're ahead of what's about to come out. You're like almost a revolutionary, bro. Almost. I think
I've got my thumb somewhere on on VR. Maybe not the pulse, but we've got it stuck up somewhere in there for the VR news cycle. We know what's going on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's definitely, you know, and you could, I mean, it's pretty should be easy to predict, but this is something that they need. So it'll be interesting. I was even saying when it was theorized that it was these type of lenses, Fresnel, right? It's that it would be next level, right? Sony would do something different with it. They're not, you know, that's what they do. They do just displays. Everybody forgets that, right? TVs, all of that. They've been doing it for decades. So,
well, if you look at this this patent, it's actually pretty advanced stuff that they're talking about doing here. They're talking about putting a super thin layer of non-reflective material on the underside of the ridges, the rings in the Fresnel lenses that absorb that light that typically shines through that causes the artifacts. Not, not that I'm an expert, but does not seem like the easiest thing in the world to mass produce. But again, this is Sony, and they're, they've been doing high level optics design for years with their cameras. So if anybody can do this and pull it off, it's them. I'm sure that even if they outsource it, uh, they're in with all of the top, lens makers in the world, I would imagine, or at least a good number of them. So this is encouraging, right? It makes me a lot more optimistic about the prospect of having Fresnel lenses because, as you know, it isn't all bad. The whole industry uses this type of lenses for a reason, and that reason being that they're lighter, they're more compact, and it's a lot easier to make a comfortable headset if you're using Fresnel lenses. So hopefully we get all the benefits and none of the backside from that.
No, at some point, somebody at Sony said, "We really want to use these. Let's try to solve this problem and use them." And it looks like they did, according to this. But I guess time will tell. Science thinks that the jagged edges on the lenses will scratch your eyeballs so badly that your eyes will get watery and you won't be able to see the God rays. But then at that point, Scion, you won't be able to see the game either. So it's like a catch 22, 22, catch 2020.
That's all right. You don't need to see the game, bro, because with the haptics and the audio tech, like we're still going to be immersed even if we can't see.
Yeah, that's true. You can close your eyes, right? That'd be work.
Some debate in the chat on what the price is going to be. A couple of people saying 600. Ray Delator says it'll be 1,200 on eBay.
Oh my God.
Probably right. I'm sticking with my initial prediction. I think it's going to be 500, just like the console. I don't think that this is going to cost more than the already expensive and hard to find PlayStation 5. I think $499 or less. I think it could be less, but most likely $499 on this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Felipe Laris made it. What's up, bro? Thanks for stopping by, bro.
Hey, Pablo. Kyle beat you. He was here first. He was here earlier, so just wanted to throw that out there.
D Millen's here too, by the way. What's up? Yeah, Onakazi's got it right. Sex and candy. That's exactly what everyone wants, bro.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
Who doesn't?
Anyway, let's move on to another corner of the hardware universe. Let's talk a little bit about Quest 2, which has now pushed Meta headsets to now own a 2/3 share of users on Steam VR. This is nuts, man. Like 2 out of 3 people that are playing Steam VR are playing on Oculus headsets. And that might not seem so crazy to a new user, but if you've been in this space for years, you know just how crazy that is.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy is how quickly it's happened, right? I mean, it's just taken over fast. And, I wish we had that. And maybe it's in the article, just where it was this time last year, right? As far as, when it first came out, I guess whenever it did first come out, how many were being used. It's definitely taken over for sure.
Yeah. Quest 2 has just had a crazy impact on everything, on the entire VR industry and every aspect of it. Quest 2, unprecedented success pushing the technology forward.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, remember when, I guess you don't remember because you weren't alive. I wasn't either. But when TV first came out, right, most families were lucky to get one. Then they got one. Then all of a sudden, families got 2, and then 3, and then 4. Like I know multiple people, your sister being one of them, just joined getting 2. You know what I mean? It's happening. People are getting multiple headsets for their house. It's not just one per household anymore, right?
Yeah, and television dying a slow, painful death right now. Like, who needs TV anymore, bro? Like, nobody has cable. Like, we might as well just go straight to monitors, because that's what TVs are being used for now. They're being used as monitors,
Right.
and even the ones that aren't are being used as streaming devices. They're typically smart TVs with some sort of functionality built in for Netflix and Hulu and all these different um, streaming services that most of us use on our PCs and mobile devices. So literally the old model is dying. It's really just the oldest people now that are tech illiterate that are still watching television. And you can see it, man. You can see it in the numbers of the old legacy media when you see like their ratings and how many viewers they're pulling. Um,
YouTube
I
channels
mean,
pull more, podcasts pull
yeah,
way more than network television anymore.
it's dead, bro. It's boring. It's boring, and it's a different conversation for a different day. But it's really affected the mindset of the general public. Like the internet has had a profound impact on people's worldview, and again, that's a conversation for a different day. But it's really, really interesting to me because television kind of revolutionized the world, and especially the mindset of the American people. And now, in the post-television era, as we transition out of that era, we see a lot of the kind of birth pains of the next thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I just read an article, I don't know, it was a week ago that was saying something about how this was VR was going to be the next, TV or next, step. So, and if it's
I
not
think
VR, it'll be AR.
that too was Bradley. Bradley killing it,
Yeah.
spot on, by the way, with his assessment. Um,
Yeah.
um, anyway, while we're on Quest 2 and its impact on Steam, it's good news, man. It's not just that the existing pool of users are switching over to Oculus, but according to uh, this next headline, the number of VR headsets on Steam has now blasted through the 3 million milestone. That means 3 million active VR users on Steam. And this just proof positive of what we said was going to be the case, that that a good portion of these new users that are being introduced to VR through the affordable, accessible MetaQuest 2, a good number of those are going to want something more, and that those players are going to move on to PC VR and PlayStation VR2 when the time comes. But this just going to show that that has now begun, and Steam VR now moving to new heights because of the impact of mainstream VR.
Yeah. I think that Mash was said this on the show a couple weeks ago. It's just basically they get in the Quest 2, they play it for a while, gets them a taste for VR, and then they want to move on to computers, PC. And we're entering a time with that new app and all these other different companies popping up want to provide it for people that don't have that computer. I really think that 5 years from now, most people won't have a computer anymore. And that sounds crazy, but it's going to be a lot of different reasons, but mainly because I don't think you'll be able to get the components. But I think that a lot of people, it's just going to become easier to get a service and just, play unlimited games and not have to worry about it,
Yeah, everyone moving to cloud-based services. I could certainly see that happening. I don't know how soon it will come. Really, a lot of that's dependent on how quickly the network infrastructure builds up.
Yeah.
Because I mean, for a mass move to that type of a system, you've got to have fast internet in the air everywhere, and I think we're still a few years away from that. But
Elon,
certainly,
Elon's
that's the
working
end
on
game.
it, and they're pushing 5G like nobody's business. So if they can get all that turned on, especially via, like they want to do satellites, right, where the whole world will have access to it, and the AI as well. It'll be the loving gift that keeps on giving. But it's also for a different show.
Yeah, yeah. Well, certainly it's coming. That is the end game. No, no question about it. It's not a question of if, but when, and it'll surely be a marvel to behold whenever the day comes.
Yep.
Um, one more Quest 2 tidbit before we move on. Quest 2 SDK documentation leaks body tracking support. A lot of people are reporting this as body tracking for Cambria, but that's not what I'm seeing here. This is from Quest 2 SDK, which reminds me of a story that we saw back around Connect, that possibly Quest 2 body tracking could be in the works. And if you'll recall, there was even, I think, a video that had leaked regarding this, showing someone standing in front of a mirror, and then the Quest, using that image that it's picking up from the mirror you're standing in front of to give you realistic body tracking inside VR. That's what I think this is. And I think this is very real and something that we could be seeing over the next few months.
Oh man, people like my friend Josh are gonna geek out. He was over here like a month ago, and he was talking about all these attachments, the Vive trackers. He's got them all because he loves to go in VR chat, and he wants to be the guy that's got every limb under the sun moving. Right? There's people out there that's their dream. They really want to get in VR chat and be able to do this and wave their arms and their legs and dance. And if you go in the VR chat and watch, somebody's going to be showing off with their tracking. You think you're better than me? I don't think they're better than me, Wes.
Well, there's a whole other segment of VR user that's not gamers, and we saw this when we were frequenting the wave once upon the time. There's a whole group of VR users that are just oblivious to gaming. They don't care about it, but they're in VR and they love it because they want to participate in these kind of social aspects of VR. The VR chat side of VR. And VR chat is something that is available on Quest 2. But up until now, PC's always been kind of the preferable way to experience VR chat. It's so much more capable, what you can do through the PC VR version. This is going to narrow that gap significantly. If you can get free body tracking, the same way that Oculus Quest gave us free wireless PC VR last year, it's going to be a big deal for that segment of the VR population.
Yeah, and the only thing that I could say where it could really benefit someone like you or me, because I don't give a shit about VR chat dancing, or anything like that, but immersion with inverse kinematics. You know what I mean? Like the bottom half of your body actually moving with you when you're moving instead of, you know what I mean? Because that's kind of, sometimes you look down and you're shifting or whatever, you're doing something and it's not doing exactly what you're doing. You would, if just that little bit of immersion could help. So
I'm very interested to see how this affects the tracking SDK, because mirrors, we've always been told that mirrors are something that you want to avoid, shit that can break your tracking. So this certainly is going to be interesting, to say the least. One thing we do know is that the software engineers at Meta are second to none. These guys are amazing what they can do just through code. So if anybody can, solve this puzzle, I'm sure that they're going to be able to do it.
Wolfie wants to kick in a door on a game. And you know what's going to be funny? You will be able to do that and it'll be badass, but you're going to end up kicking your TV, or, I mean, I guess it's the same as punching stuff, but kicking stuff, you might lose your balance.
It's going to kick in a door in the game and then actually kick in a door in real life.
That would be cool. That'd be a good TikTok video.
Immersion, right?
Yeah.
Immersiveness.
Yep.
Anyway, I think it's amazing what this device continues to do. I mean, it's done so much in terms of, its ever increasing functionality. People sometimes forget just how new Quest 2 is. It hasn't been out that long. It's just month after month after month after month that adds new functionality, groundbreaking, significant stuff that we never really even imagined it was going to have when it launched. Like, they keep surprising us, they keep raising the bar, and really it's commendable. And you can see the fruit of all of that money that Meta has sunk into this thing. It really is something to behold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, as we begin to transition out of the hardware news. Let's take a little brief pit stop in Metaverse news. Typically, this is the part of the show where I said we had a bunch of Metaverse headlines and I cut them out for time. I decided this week, just as a funny experiment, let's not cut the Metaverse headlines out. Let's leave them in here just so people can get an idea of what kind of things we're seeing week after week after week. It's very indicative of just how big the concept of metaverse is within the tech world right now. Everyone is buying into this. Well, except Nintendo, but everyone else is buying into this concept of the metaverse. And I've got a couple of headlines this week to demonstrate that for you. But keep in mind, as we talk about that there are headlines like this every week that I just don't talk about out of respect to time. First of all, Bandai Namco, they're set to invest $130 million into developing its own IP metaverse. These are the people who brought us the Souls game. This is Elden Ring roots. They're, I mean, if you do the math and put it together, that means that these beloved IPs that have come from Bandai Namco, I mean, we're going to be playing these in VR now, right? That's what this means, right?
That's what it sounds like to me, or at least they believe in the metaverse, right? They believe that this is coming, so that also means that they're it's not even a concept anymore. You know, there was a lot of companies back in the day that believed in VR 4, 5, 6, 10 years ago, and you could have said that they didn't know. Now these companies know, and they know big time, and it's not lost on Bandai Namco clearly. And some of my favorite games come from them, so I'm excited.
Yeah, man, we're literally watching the dawn of the next internet right now, and I don't mean just the specific metaverse specifically. Metaverse is a branch of Web3. It isn't Web3. A lot of people will tell you that Web3 and Metaverse are one and the same thing. Metaverse is part of Web3, but it's not all of it. There's a lot of other things that are being built up. It all kind of works together, blockchain technologies, and I mean, there's so much to it. But this absolutely is happening now, and Meta kind of fired the opening salvo at Connect last year, and ever since then, it has been breakneck speed. All of these companies basically redesigning their entire future plans around this concept of metaverse and Web3. So, yeah, Bandai Namco, this is exciting. Specifically, this one is exciting because this is gaming based. A lot of it's not. This is proof positive that a lot of AAA gaming franchises are now currently being worked on in a VR sense. Like these IPs are coming to VR. Now, does that mean that we're going to get like a what we have considered a traditional game in VR? Not necessarily, but I think if you kind of can look beyond what is considered a traditional game now, the new tech, the new internet, all of this is going to mean new types of games where you're going to be able to just kind of put on your headset, sink into these worlds, and games as we think of them today might not even exist 10 or 15 years from now. It might just be this kind of metaverse, for lack of a better term, where you go in and you experience these things, but you're not ever, it's all subscription based, right? And you just kind of pick and choose which subscriptions you want to add to your personal metaverse, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it all fleshes out. So, the cause says that was from Software. Bandai brought us Galaxian, Pac-Man, and Super Robots. Well, Wars. We're just reading the article, and this is what they're saying. And I'm assuming that this is. I mean, it's all tied together. But yeah, it's definitely.
I was. You got it, Roots. I was just basically covering what this article says. It did say that, did I
Yeah, it's
it
actually.
wrong?
I know I got it right here in, on that part with an IP library of video games that includes Dark Souls, Soul Calibur, Pac-Man, Gundam, Elden Ring, virtual reality titles such as Ace Combat, Seven Skies Unknown, which I've only played a little bit, but it was pretty cool. least the
Yep. We just got a copyright strike because you mentioned that game,
oh God. Well, I'll
which
tell you,
must
it
not
wouldn't
be.
surprise me because those fuckers want to. I mean, all we do, you don't. This is my thing, and I get it. Music, whatever. Things are getting so ridiculous to where you can't even advertise for these people. You want to show a trailer? Let me showcase a game for you. Oh, sorry, copyright strike. That makes no sense to me. That is like
Yeah.
anti-intuitive to the 10th degree.
Yeah, people don't realize just how often we get like it has since
Stupid.
since our channel kind of took an uptick about 6 or 9 months ago. It's been pretty much constant. Like more times than not, we get copyright claims on our videos. The good news is that we don't make enough ad revenue from YouTube that I even really even care. I don't even typically respond to it. Like they give you options of how you're going to deal with it. You know, do you want to cut it out? Do you want to edit your video? Do you want to do X, Y, Z? I don't even read that crap. I just, who cares? Let's just move on to the next.
Yeah.
But it is kind of crazy. You're absolutely right. All we're doing here is trying to showcase these games, and it seems like that's not enough. They want our $2.50, so I guess they can have it.
It's YouTube's algorithm. I love you, YouTube. But
Yeah.
because this is the thing. Like, if I were to stream, say I was streaming on YouTube and I played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, they'll copyright you, strike you for the songs in the game. And like, I'm playing a game I bought. You should be able to play that. You know what I mean? That's different. That's different than me choosing to play music on there. And that, I don't know.
There
Anyway,
should be an implied license that you have access to when you purchase a product like that. I agree.
yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway, a little bit more metaverse, and this just to show you how ridiculous this is getting in such a quick fashion.
Wolvie's actually talking about it right now.
Oh, is he already talking about it?
Mhm.
Yeah. Order real food in the McDonald's metaverse restaurant. This is a real thing. McDonald's is building their metaverse, and apparently, if I had to imagine, this is going to work in conjunction with all of the other metaverses that are being built. Just like in real life, anywhere that you're going in cyberspace 5 to 10 years from now, there's going to be a McDonald's. There's going to be one everywhere. You go into the meta side of the metaverse, you're going to see McDonald's. You go to the Sony metaverse, there's going to be McDonald's there as well. And here's the thing, you can order food and they're going to just bring it to your house in real life, like in meat space. They're going to bring you their kangaroo burgers and trans fat French fries. And, even though you're escaping your physical reality, they're still going to continue to poison your physical body.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're gonna pick something, why McDonald's, bro? Like, I won't eat there anymore. I haven't for like 5 or 6 years. I mean, enough has came out. The slime. Do people forget the slime? This is the thing, and it's encroaching in every food, because I've said before, you can't keep the prices the same, but have prices go up on everything they're feeding us and expect to get the same product. It just, that doesn't make logical sense. But if they pick something that's good, hopefully it's not only McDonald's, because I really marvel when I drive by it and I see people on the line. I'm just like, it marvels. I'm baffled.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I still occasionally indulge in a little McDonald's, but typically I never go out and say, you know what I want? I want some McDonald's. and I'll be buying it in the metaverse too. And it'll be for the same reason that I buy it in real life. Convenience. Like, it's everywhere. Literally, if you don't have time to go home and cook and you look around, what's there? McDonald's is always right there. And I think for that very same reason, McDonald's metaverse is going to be just as popular as McDonald's in real life. It's something people settle for. It's cheap. It's kind of good if you eat it when it's hot. Like, don't try to reheat it. But if you eat it immediately when they give it to you, it tastes pretty good. It is poison, of course. I mean, this is one of those weird things where they change the definition of food so that they can legally call this stuff food, right? But yeah,
anybody that doubts it, look at the ingredients in anything that you get here in America, and this is good for you, EU. most of it doesn't exist in the EU. They won't allow a lot of the shit in their McDonald's. We have different stuff over here, and it ain't good, bro. I call it judgment.
Yeah, we need a Royale with cheese, bro. That's what we need.
Yeah, I want a Royale with cheese. That's right. Fuck the quarter pounder.
Boognish says, I want Popeye's chicken delivered to my house. Exactly. Popeye's chicken is the shiznit, to quote a popular movie.
Yeah, if it's good
Papa's
food,
good, man.
how cool is that though? Let's get Roots get past the McDonald's part. The fact that you can go into the metaverse and order it, and maybe you go in and you order what you want, and then you play a game for 30 minutes and then come out and it pops up and says, hey, your McDonald's is on your port. Shows a little picture of it there. You know what I mean?
Here's the great thing. Like, if you go to like Meta McDonald's, or the Metaverse, as I like to call it, to order your food, the corporate McDonald's is going to be able to force like these positive avatars for you to interact with as you order your food. Whereas if you go to McDonald's in real life, there's some 15-year-old kid who hates his life, could give two shits if your order's right or if your food's right, because they have to deal with a nonstop, never-ending line of assholes, and it kills your soul to work at a place like that. And in the metaverse, you don't have to see that ugly underside of it. It's going to be like the factories, the Nike factories in China or something. It's going to be that far removed from our consciousness after we all get inside the headsets that we're not even going to have to think about that part of it anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Cover it up. Cover up the stink with some Febreze, right? Just days before McDonald's filed their trademark, it says Panera filed patents for their vision of the metaverse. And you're gonna be able to do the same thing. I don't think people get it. This is the thing, and you can say whatever you want. Maybe a memo went out to people, to these big corporations, and said, "Look, this is the way it's going." I just think that these big companies, they've finally realized this is happening, and we're not. Either we get on board. I think that's the message that they've gotten now. Is this is happening one way or the other. Either you get on board now, or you're going to be left behind. And nobody wants to be that kid that doesn't get picked in softball, right? So
absolutely, and that's my whole point in including this stuff in this week's headlines. Is, believe me, I see these every week, week after week after week. Everyone has declared their plans for the metaverse at this point. Absolutely everyone, and I say except Nintendo, because I did read a headline today that Nintendo's not down with it just yet. They say that it could possibly be something that they look at in the future, when they can do it kind of like the Nintendo way, as they put it. But right now they don't see the opportunity to do that. So yeah, basically what they're saying is when we can market VR to children, then we'll do it. But until then, we're going to just keep right on and selling people handheld devices.
Yeah. So when do you think you'll be able to order your crystal meth in your headset? Probably never, hopefully. But you probably get your weed that way, right? You go into the weed
that's
shop.
The awesome thing, man. That's the awesome thing. As we build Web3, I mean, it's going to bring along with it dark web. A lot of people don't know about the dark web and the kind of the underside of the internet, where you can buy meth and you can buy prostitutes and murder for hire. All of that you're able to purchase fairly easily. I mean, a lot of it obviously are feds trying to entrap people, but a lot of it's not. And I mean, with the untrackable nature of cryptocurrency, you can buy anything on the dark web right now. And with the newest iteration of Web3, now we're going to be able to physically, or at least our consciousness is going to be able to visit the dark web. And I got to imagine that's going to be an interesting trip every time that you make it.
Tech says, I can't wait, the dark VR web. I'll tell you what, you're braver than me, Tech. I've read a lot of shit on the dark web, and let's put it this way. I walk in a room and the dark web is right there. I'm going the other fucking way. I'm running, dude. There's some creepy shit that happens on the dark web. So much so that, like, I just choose to stay away. It's scary.
Yeah, I'm intrigued with it. I'm literally intrigued with it, but I won't browse it because it's dangerous. It's a dangerous place to visit. If you don't know what you're doing on the cybersecurity side of things, these people will fuck you hard in 5 seconds if you go that route. So yeah, I got to imagine that the the dark metaverse is coming, but you better know what you're doing. You better protect yourself before you participate.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I will or I won't, but I'm saying that for those that do, I got to imagine that it's going to be a dark wonderland down there of just the craziest shit you could even think of.
Brain scan. You're gonna think you're in a dream.
A lot of people don't. You know, I see it on Twitter all the time. Name your favorite metaverse movie. Name your favorite VR movie. Nobody ever mentions Brain Scan.
Dude,
I used to love Brain Scan, dude. That's so perfect.
that dude, that kid thought he was in real life for like a week. You know, that's the ultimate virtual reality, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I love Brain Scan, dude, or at least the concept. It's been many years since I watched the movie, so I might obviously watch it now and it might suck. But back then,
It was cool.
I was intrigued with the concept of it. And if you haven't checked it out, I think that you should.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brain Scan. Love it. Anyway, let's move along out of the Metaverse and into some gaming news. We got new Moss Book 2 details and screenshots revealed this week, courtesy of the PlayStation blog. A lot of details. I mean, there's not a lot of details in this upload article that we're looking at here, but if you go to the PlayStation blog, there's an interview with one of the creative directors there at PolyArt Games, and they go into a lot of detail about the world building and just the overall feel of the sequel to Moss. And it's hard to convey in a trailer the differences between the sequel and the original because, quite honestly, the footage looks very similar. But when you read into what kinds of things that they're doing, they're building a much, much more immersive world here. And this truly is going to be a next gen version of Moss. And I'm looking forward to visiting this world and continuing what was already a great story.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if it's very similar, it's about the story, right? And I'm guarantee that everything you encounter is not going to be the same. The environments, I mean, you're in the same world, right? Would you expect it to be a completely different world? No, but I think it's going to be cool. I'm excited to check it out. And
Oh yeah. It's same world, same story, but the maps are going to be much more big and expansive. You're going to have a lot more freedom with regards to where you're going and what you're doing, and the environments themselves are going to be more immersive. Like the the they're gonna like use like destructive environments and things like if enemies attack you and miss, they're gonna leave a mark or cut down some weeds where you were standing, stuff like that. Just little things, lots of little things being implemented here into the design of the game to kind of up that immersion for the end user.
yeah, super cool. Wolveraza says the worst VR movie was Lawnmower Man 2. And I agree. That was a very weird movie.
Yeah, cash grab, as most sequels tend to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, man, we did get a few new screenshots here as you've kind of scrolled past a little bit. The art style similar but different, right? It looks certainly a bit more vibrant with regards to the color palette, a lot more detailed, as you would expect to be the case with the new hardware. Really, what remains the most interesting thing about this game to me is the fact that this is a Sony exclusive at launch, man. Like you're seeing all this beautiful stuff here, but is this really a PSVR 1 game, Roots? Is it really going to be a PSVR 1 game? This is coming in spring, mind you, in spring.
Wow. So it's an exclusive. That's weird. Okay, because if it is weird, if it's an exclusive, I mean, obviously it is. Say that it comes out in spring, why would they not release it? Wait till fall if the PSVR 2 is coming out, right? Unless it's not.
Right. Unless, I mean, maybe. Here's a possibility, because when I see this has PSVR 2 all over it to me. Like that would be initially that would have been my guess, is that PSVR 2 is coming in spring because this is coming in spring. But now it's starting to look like maybe that's not the case. We could get a reveal of PSVR 2 in spring, but we don't think that the actual headset's going to be able to be purchased in spring. So here's what I think could be the approach that they're taking here. Obviously, this is a Sony exclusive for some time. That means Sony has funded it to some extent, and obviously that's the reason why that would be the case, as was the case with the first one. The first one was exclusive to PlayStation VR for a little while. I think maybe we could see this launch around the time that they unveil PlayStation VR 2. And maybe they have something kind of like cross buy, where like you can go ahead and buy this game now, play it on your PSVR 1 if you have it, and then when PSVR 2 comes, we'll let you upgrade for free, like they did with a lot of PS4 games. Had free PS5 upgrades.
They
to
still
them.
do it. They still do that with a lot of games. So that makes a lot of sense with their recent history, what they've been doing with the PlayStation 5 for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, we already know there's a lot of PSVR headsets out there. Just because people aren't using them all the time doesn't mean that people don't still have them. And this could just be a good way for Sony to re-engage with that audience, kind of get them back into PlayStation VR in the lead up to the launch of the PSVR 2. So they unveil their headset. They show us a few launch titles. They launch Moss Book 2 as a PSVR 1 exclusive with the promise that you're going to be able to play it on the new headset as well. Now that is a scenario that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, it's getting people re-engaged, people that may have gone to sleep for a little bit here. Wake up. It's time to wake up.
Felipe Laris says, I hate exclusives and splitting and like his comment cut off, but I already know what he's about to say there. This is a topic actually that we're going to be we've talked about it before. We're going to be revisiting it soon in an upcoming piece of content. I don't want to say much more about it than that right now, but stay tuned. We've got cool stuff in the works. I assure you. Hit the button and the bell. That's the moral of the story. Cool stuff coming, and we're going to touch on exclusives really soon with someone whose perspective you're probably going to be interested to hear. Anyway, Moss Book 2 looks awesome. It's interesting, man. A lot of people are excited for it because we remember how cool Moss 1 was, and we just want to continue that. Some people have kind of lost their enthusiasm. I don't know if it's because it's been a while since they played the first one, or they didn't really like the way the first one went. But I've definitely heard both sides of the coin here, like both ends of the spectrum. I've seen people that are just friggin' over the top excited for this, and then I've seen other people who could not give a shit about this. I tend to be more on the excited side of it. I enjoyed the first Moss. I played through it multiple times, and this looks like a proper sequel. And they've been working on this for years. I know it's going to be good.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. I'm curious to see how good this thing is. Right? It's been 6 years since the first one came out. Did it come out right when the PlayStation came out, or was it maybe it was 2018? Right?
Yeah, it was in the year of PSVR when things really broke loose for PSVR. This was one of those titles.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely I definitely think it's going to be next level compared to the first one. I mean, if you didn't like the first one, I don't expect you to like this one. Like, I don't think that, you know what I mean? Like, if you didn't like the first one, why would you play the second one? I did enjoy the first one. But it's kind of weird, you know. Mash and I were kind of having a talk about that, you know, about just how our view of games have changed just in 4 or 5 months, just because better games are coming out. And so it's like it's everything's going up. You know, we talked about this last year with the Asgard effect. Well, this is like the Asgard effect times 100 in so many different ways. We've had so many different encouraging things happening, from Hitman 3 to Resident Evil, all the amazing mods that are out, all the amazing games that we know are coming out, the rumored games. And so our expectations and our I guess just our level of what we want out of VR is starting to rise, right? And so it's what we said last year, even more so. The devs, this is the most important time for devs to pay attention to what's going on, because you can get left behind really easily, because everybody's wants and needs for VR are shifting, and it's shifting fast, and it's crazy. It's a good time for VR.
Well, here's the cool thing. This was the original Moss was a highly critically acclaimed game. Most people absolutely raved about it. There was really only one knock on it. Do you remember what that was?
I don't know, probably third person, like everything else people bitch about.
Too short. A lot
Oh,
of people said that this game was too short. And what I'm looking at here is an expansion in every tangible way from the original. You know, it's not something that's markedly different than the original. It's still the same format, kind of the same stuff that you're doing in the game. But I imagine that, you know, the gameplay is expanded, the world itself has expanded. I imagine that the length of the game is probably going to expand a bit too, and I think that that's pretty awesome.
yeah, that'll make a big difference. So they did add content right after the fact, and now it's a pretty long game. But I agree, it'll definitely be a longer game as well.
And again, back in the earliest days when we started, you know, kind of speculating about what next gen VR was going to be, one of the things that was on everyone's wish list was sequels, right? We've done multiple episodes on what kind of sequels we would like to see. We want Gen 2 VR not to forget Gen 1. There were so many great games in Gen 1 that were original IPs that we never saw anywhere but Gen 1 VR. We want these games not to be forgotten. We want these games to get sequels. And as we move into the next headline, it's good to see that we're actually starting to see this happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wands Alliances brings room scale magical combat to MetaQuest in 2022. This is cool, Roots. And you know, I'm not someone who got into the wands, even though I'm very complimentary of the ongoing support Wands has had. Ever since they launched it, they have improved that game and expanded that game. And Cortupia Studios deserves a compliment, you know, for continuing the support of Wands. But as we move into the next gen, here we see the next gen of Wands, and I find it interesting because this concept is not foreign to VR. We have seen stuff like this before, and a game that comes to mind. What was it called? Was it Unspoken? The one that was on Oculus Rift. We've seen this kind of wizard battle, PvP, you know, magic dueling before, and we always kind of referred to it as a concept before its time. Well, here we are. We're coming into the next gen of VR, and they're trying it again. Do you think that maybe this will get a little more traction than the very earliest versions of the concept did?
It has to. There's actually people in the pool of people buying the games. Just the Quest 2 alone. If you actually think about all the people buying that, I'm assuming this is coming to Quest 2, right? That's what I would think they were developing it for. It's a different market now, and I think a lot of games, and maybe, and it's just not. I'm not a Wands person. They do, a lot of people love it. I haven't really played too much of it, but this is the thing. There's going to be a lot of games out there that are going to do just this, and they're going to fall flat on their face as well. Because I guarantee for some developers, pride is going to be a problem. And I'm not saying that about this developer at all. I'm just saying in general. They're going to think it was the market. There was not enough people. It wasn't time. My game will work this time. And they're going to get out there and they're going to realize it's not going to work this time either, because it wasn't good the first time. Now, Wands could work. Like I said, I don't know too much about it. I haven't played too much, but maybe now is the time.
Room scale. Those are those magical words that everyone loves to hear, right? It's automatically 10 out of 10, Roots. It's got room scale.
You don't even need to do anything else. You just room scale it and you can just walk around in a circle and it's amazing.
It's amazing, bro.
I want to know
the cutting edge of VR technology.
Is anybody in the chat there's got to be somebody out there that's like Wands is the legit shit. I think it's cool that they're trying to come out and get another market and try, and like I said, I would expect to see this again with some games that maybe didn't get the love they should have gotten, and this time around they will or won't. I don't know.
Who's next says the Unspoken VR. I used to love playing that game. It was actually one of the pack-in titles, if I'm not mistaken, with my Oculus Rift CV1. One of the games that came with it. It was either that or it was one of the first games I bought. Never booted it one time. Like, it was one of the first games I owned in PCVR. Never booted it. It was pretty much dead already when I got into PCVR. It had been around for a year or two at that point, and as Chris Richardson points out here, it did get a single player add-on to it at some point, but it wasn't like a campaign or anything, if I recall. It was just kind of like a single player mode where you're playing against bots or whatever. Yeah, I never played it. I am optimistic that maybe the concept's time has come. I know that Wands is high quality, based on what people have said about it, based on the ongoing support, and based on what we know that Cortopia Studios can do.
Very true.
I am a bit worried, as I always am, when a developer puts all their eggs into the multiplayer basket, because it's feast or famine with that, right? Either it works or it don't, and when it don't, you're done. Like, it's not like with the original ones, it's something that they've been able to improve over time and make viable through support. You can't do that with a multiplayer game. You either capture the hearts and minds of the player base, or your lobbies are dead, and it doesn't matter. No kind of support is ever going to draw people in after launch. Like, launch is your chance, and if it don't work, then you're done. You might as well move on to the next thing. So that I do find a bit worrisome, but hopefully we haven't seen anything of the game yet. Hopefully this is just going to be something that's amazing and capture the imagination of the MetaQuest user base.
Yeah. Well, good luck to them. I don't know that I'll be playing this one either, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe somehow Key will be there and I'll try it and talk about it. But yeah, I guess like I said, it's good that people are trying that developers are trying this, right? And I mean, they are the same ones that are behind. I was looking here, Carly and the Reaper Man and Down the Rabbit Hole, right? I like both of those games. So
Yep. This we have friends over there. If we want to play this, we should be able to get review access, and I think maybe we should, because they are our friends, and we should try to help them out. And like we said, either a multiplayer game takes hold or it don't. So maybe we should do our part to kind of try to help them succeed. Hopefully, it's a good game that they're bringing. I'm confident it will be.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny, Roots. As much praise that I've heaped on Song in the Smoke as being this amazing world that's great to explore, that it's the first real time that I've ever been, you know, attached to a survival based game. The one thing that people remembered that I said out of all of that stuff was I hate picking up sticks in VR.
Mhm.
And as I read through the chat as we watch this, I watch this video and I see real time working physics on a standalone headset, and I'm blown away by it. Like, I can't believe the type of work that Incuvio has accomplished in this port. This is a port. Um, and I look over to the chat expecting other people to be going, wow, man, can you believe that this is working on Quest 2? This is Quest 2 footage. I see comment after comment. Yep, picking up stick simulator. Don't want to go pick up sticks. And it's funny, man. It's funny because I do have a lot of trepidation about Green Hell VR based on the genre.
Mm.
But what I'm seeing, everything that I've seen has been amazing. Not only with the Quest version, but the PC version as well. We did, as this headline states, get some new video footage this past week. And man, it looks good. We already knew that Incuvo was good from their past work, but this looks like a new level for them.
Absolutely. Mash says Incuvo knows their shit. I 100% agree. My favorite, Wes, was the is this called Board Camper? Because I was thinking the same thing. I mean, obviously this is not a gameplay video. This is a video that's 100% showcasing the physics, right? Showcasing how amazing that they can bring this physics into VR. We're starting to get spoiled. We're only couple years away from everything your hand went through, right? Now where everything is starting to get to where this, right? Real physics. And I would be remiss to say I also don't give a shit about the game in the sense of the fact that I just don't like survival games. Song in the Smoke, if any game was going to get me, that was the one. And that didn't even get me because I don't like when he was breaking the rock on that thing. I thought a lot of people would think that was cool. I thought, man, that's a lot of work, bro. Like, I'm going to the game to have fun and relax, not to go do break a bunch of shit up. But for people that love it, I guarantee it looks really good.
Well, here's the thing. When they first announced this Green Hell VR port, after we got over the initial, something new, high, I really didn't care. I didn't think I was going to want to play this when it launched. And then for the longest time, I thought that. Now I'm starting to kind of go the other way with it because this looks like technical achievement. Even if it is a type of game that I don't typically enjoy, I do enjoy seeing the state of the art when it comes to VR. And this more and more is starting to look like it's going to be the state of the art with regards to standalone VR. Like, how many standalone games have we experienced that have anywhere near this level of physics in it? I can think of like one, Saints and Sinners. That's it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. You would think that if they're able to accomplish this type of thing on standalone, that the game would suffer in other areas, like it would be an ugly game visually. This game is beautiful. I mean, look, beyond just the physics, look at the art, look at the detail. Like, this don't look like a Quest game until you look at the PC version, which is like friggin' nuts how beautiful it is. I am starting to look forward to this, and I'm just hopeful that, like Song in the Smoke, that there's going to be something else that this game has to offer that will make me make me want to endure the survival aspects of the game, which I typically don't enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it definitely would be worth going into. I guess Kyle Kitching says Boy Scouts VR would be a good game, and Tech says he just hopes the scout leaders don't touch him. I would hope you hope that too, Tech.
I bet
Scouts
they
honor.
have stuff like that. I bet there's stuff like that going on in VR chat right now.
Yeah. You could go find it right now, Tech. You can go hope not to be touched if you want.
What's up, Alex? Alex VR joining the chat. Hello, friend. Yeah, dude. They're We've always known that Incuvo was a really talented studio, so kudos to them for making me any bit interested at all in a new survival game. Um, yeah, I'm actually starting to look forward to this one, and I feel like it's getting close too because they've been very good about sharing through the entire development cycle. They've shared screenshots literally weekly, but now we're moving on from screenshots into footage, which tells me that we're getting ever closer to a launch date for this one.
Onakazi wants to know if this is the same developers that did The Forest.
No,
No?
no, this is not the same developers that did
Okay.
Forest. This is different. Different.
Alex says we're virtual neighbors. We are in the metaverse. You got you and Skiva are right next door. My favorite neighbors.
They're on the other side of the McDonald's.
Yeah, there's a McDonald's right in between us. I would suggest avoiding it. That's just my personal preference. But you can do it in the metaverse. So
Yeah, and who knows? What sounds worse, Roots, than delivering McDonald's? We just talked a little bit about how you have to eat it while it's hot. I mean, by the time it gets to the house, it's ruined, right?
yeah. Yeah, well, maybe they'll put something in it that'll keep it warm.
Right.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but at least it'll be warm.
Hey, maybe they'll have like self-driving cars that
Ooh,
have deep fryers built into where the trunk used to be,
they
right? They
better.
could just make your food on the way to your house.
Yeah, it could be a little guy back there making it. Actually, it'd probably be a robot, right?
Yeah, probably right. But anyway, moving on, let's talk a little bit about updates. We saw quite a few updates to awesome games this week. Contractors now gets custom maps across PC and Quest.
Ooh.
This was a favorite in our community and others once upon a time as a PCVR title. As Quest came along and the game moved to Quest, we saw some downgrades. We saw the game be downgraded visually. We saw everyone's favorite part of the game, which was the custom made user maps, get stripped out of the game. And a lot of negative comments and a lot of negative feeling towards what happened to Contractors as it became a standalone game. Slowly over time, we have seen it improve with update after update, improving the graphics, improving the gunplay, really a lot of improvement to the user interface. And really, the one thing that was left to kind of bring everyone full circle back around into a fully polished version of Contractors was the inclusion of the custom made maps. And it seems like we're finally starting to get there again in Contractors, once again becoming kind of the class of VR with regards to this type of game.
Yeah, absolutely. Maddie Fat Batcat says Contractors is really good. The mod maps are quality, especially on a beefy PC. And that's the thing. That's my question that I was going to pose to you, Wes. Is you have all these mods. Are these different? They can't be the same mods. They have to be specifically done for the Quest. And I'm just wondering who's doing that. You know what I mean? Like the best ones that are made on the PC are not automatically going to be on there, I would imagine. Even just space wise, right? Some of these mods are probably bigger than the game. Maybe not.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into the nuts and bolts of how all this thing works. If it's different people making different mods, or if there's some kind of conversion going on within the software that allows a kind of a downgraded version to come into the standalone. I don't know. All I know is that people are very happy to see this update come down the pike, and again, this is a long-standing favorite that, in a lot of people's opinion, was downgraded to a point where it's really inexcusable. So
Right.
it's good to see it bounce back, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out for sure.
Like the gunplay in this game is almost unparalleled in VR. Really, my entire problem with it was all user interface type stuff. Like the game itself, what was great after you got into it and got everything settled in your menus and your loadouts. Then the game was good, but it was a bit tedious on the UI side. So I'm glad as I read through the last few updates to see that they've put a lot of attention into the UI. Um, I'm actually kind of looking forward to getting back in this one. It's been a long time since I played Contractors.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's people play it all the time, right? In the Discord, I think.
But I mean, it was daily for a long time until these quest updates started happening. It was pretty much daily, or at least weekly, that people were going into Contractors.
Yep.
So I look forward to seeing that return. I look forward to hearing what people think about this new version, and I look forward to finding out just how these custom maps come across on the quest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Fat Bat Cat says the UI is all updated and it's nice. So yeah, I definitely need to check it out as well.
Sounds like a good something to put on the to-do list.
Yeah, absolutely. Wolfie says
Hmm.
for gunwork, Contractors is in top 2 with Onward for me in multiplayer. What do you know about gunplay? No, just kidding. He is Mr. Gunplay.
See, I'll completely concur with that, only because I've never played Onward. Like I've never played Onward, never once. So I played Onward, and Onward was funny because we saw a similar trajectory with Onward. Like Onward was a favorite amongst PCVR users. It came to Quest, got downgraded dramatically. A lot of people were upset, and then we saw it kind of get built back up, and we're now seeing Contractors basically follow that exact same path.
Yep. Yeah.
Bugnish says, time to dust off the gun stock. Bro, it's time to get a Mr. Tash. You don't have to dust that thing off. Like,
Leave it
it's
on all the
easy.
time.
Grab. Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
Time to break the TAS out for little Contractors action, Roots. What do you say?
Yeah, absolutely. You know who else likes to break the TAS out?
My mom.
I don't even know what that means, but I assume it's dirty because it's my mom.
Right. Speaking of popular shooters, getting a significant update that I would like to revisit soon. Population 1 launching a duos mode for a limited time. Roots, I mean, obviously one of the funnest shooters in VR, a game that we were stuck on forever. Um, when I say we, I mean our community. Continuing to iterate, continuing to stay fresh, continuing to be viable, which was always the question with this game. Is it going to have legs? Seems like it has legs. And even since I last played it, which wasn't like super long ago, it was a few months back. Um, a lot of the like kind of my early wish list for this game has now been implemented into it, and duos sounds great to me. Like this is cool. Like I don't like me, Roots and I can go in this game now, and we don't have to like try to find somebody or team up with a noob if we don't want to. Now, obviously, it's just for a limited time, but that's how all these updates start. They start out as a limited thing, and then they get integrated as a permanent thing. I think this is cool, and I'm interested. They've piqued my interest.
Yeah. Well, I know Wolfie. I think he's probably 48 now. He's been grinding the hell out of this game. It's a long grind, and the next 2 levels are going to take forever, Wolfie. But yeah, that's cool. It's cool that they're still adding, and this is one of the things that when I talk to people, just random VR people or talking to VR random people in the wild, a lot of times they'll bring up this, right? Oh yeah, I played this game, and they'll start describing it, and I'm like, Population 1. So yeah, it's definitely still popular. So
Yeah, people still playing this. It still has its user base. Really, the only question with me is have they updated their matchmaking? Because that was kind of always the thing with Population 1 is the matchmaking wasn't very balanced, and noobs would often get thrown in there with high level players, and nobody wants to just go in and be sheep to the slaughter, right? So hopefully they've improved things on that level. I really don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know that they do. That's one of the biggest things is balance, and it's Tech says you apparently don't like it because it's been a few months.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not. Well, let's be like super clear here. I'm not a versus multiplayer guy. This is not my type of game, and I'll never be the guy that goes in and plays the same thing over and over again, day after day, week after week, month after month. So the fact that I even have as much time in this game as I do, this is probably my most played versus multiplayer game ever, and by a long margin. Not that I've played it a lot, but I've played it a lot more than I've played Contractors. I've never played Onward. That should tell you something, right? Well, I take that back. Uh, this is a distant number 2 behind Firewall. Like Firewall 0 Hour, like I've played that a lot, and that's by far my favorite. But Population 1 is solid number 2, and outranks every PCVR/Quest multiplayer shooter. Period. Like this is head and shoulders above the rest to me.
Well, it's definitely, I agree. It's definitely one of the best examples of shooters. That's why Wolveraza's in there all the time. Hack the Game Cat says we've been getting like 15-ish people every Friday, which includes Tass and Delirium Drew, for custom private lobbies. The game options and customs are nuts. Well, what I would suggest, besides doing that, not this Tuesday. Try a Tuesday or Wednesday night, and you might see Wes in there. Friday night would be hard to swing, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, when they play, I'm always on my way into work. And I do see their invitations quite often. They typically put it out there around 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I'm on my way out the door at that point. Like I can't go. But I'd definitely be down to jump into a private lobby. That's kind of mitigates every issue I have with the game. If it's a private lobby and I can just play with friends, that'd be great.
He has it. I think they have it set up to where you're constantly respawning, and it's like, I don't know, it's crazy town.
Yeah. So. Great game that continues to be played, and that's really all you can ask for. If it's multiplayer, they keep it fresh, they keep players engaged. They've done very well. They've kind of put out there the blueprint for this type of game. On Quest and in VR in general. So hopefully more games like this in the future.
Absolutely.
Chi-Town D finally got her. Must have finally got her her timestamps done.
She just got done. She just got done working. So she got she's so that probably does include his Mash's timestamps.
Yeah. Probably so. Who's saying next says I'm still around level 10 in Pop 1. Me too. I'm not significantly further than that. I might not even be level 10. I don't remember exactly. It was something like that. Like I haven't played it a lot. I've probably played it, I don't know, about 15 times. And I know that don't sound like much compared to like people who play these types of games, but for me that's a lot. Like that's a lot. So yeah. I enjoyed it more than I expected.
Yeah.
But other games to get significant updates this week. Zenith, The Last City, fixes bugs, adds 23 side quests, a dungeon, a world boss, and invasions. They call this Roots a minor update. They've added a dungeon, a boss, all this extra content in there. They've added a bunch of quality of life updates. A minor update. They say that there's a major update coming soon.
Well, that's good. That's good news for Zenith, right? I mean, really, if they consider this a small update, then I'm looking forward to seeing what else they have coming out. And it's already a good game. So
a lot of stuff that they've implemented here is stuff that we've asked for, right? Stuff to do. They're starting to work on in-game content as well. These dungeons apparently have been placed in unoccupied, typically boring areas of the map. Now that there's all this extra stuff to do as you travel across what is a vast world to explore in VR. This is a step in the right direction. Something that absolutely addresses the many negative things that I found with the game. This is definitely a step in the right direction, and I'm glad that they're calling this a minor update because that means that the major update is really going to be something to behold.
I'm just happy that I'm not stuck in the mountain. Okay. Chi-Town D says, rest in peace, Mount Roots. Yeah, I'm definitely not. I guess Ashley said somebody did you get a picture of me in the mountain? I think, right? Somebody told me that. I believe that there's an image. We need it for the Discord of Mountain Roots Mountain.
Mount Roots. They say don't go on Roots Mountain. Um, yeah, man. I don't know. I didn't get to behold the Roots Mountain, so hopefully someone did take a picture of it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd like to see it.
Anyway, a lot of things to like about this update list. I think probably the most exciting thing to me are the bosses that they're adding in. I look forward to having some sort of a depth to the combat. So
Right.
I'm hoping that bosses will bring that. And I'm sure you like reading that they have added kind of these invasions. I assume that is what you refer to as raids, right?
Yeah, is that what they're saying? Is that what it is? A raids? I would imagine if that's what they're saying, invasions. Invasions sounds kind of weird. Like you can they used to have invasions for Horde versus Alliance, two different factions, like sneaking into their town and invading. That was kind of cool. But yeah, definitely I would imagine it's raids. And that's the thing. We need it. We need the gear, right? With the special gear. It'll be cool.
Yeah. So again, a step in the right direction. The first of many updates to come for what is already a very expansive and deep game. Um, yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll end up being an MMO guy after all, Roots, after they get everything implemented that they have planned.
Yeah. You'll be hooked in there, right?
Yeah, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Probably not, but maybe. Much more likely is that I'll be heading back into Walkabout Mini Golf as they continue to add to what is already a crowd favorite with Sweetopia, a new DLC course which arrives next week. I did not read this article, Roots. Is this another free update to this game? Like they've added so much to it, or is this going to be paid DLC?
I am assuming it's going to be paid. I didn't see either. I'm looking at it right now. That says Sweetopia and other recent DLC releases have all been paid. Walkabout social media account has also didn't rule out more free content at some point in the year. But we've said it before, and I don't know, Radio Runt and some of the other people that play a lot of this game, they've said it's only like $2, I think, for a new course or something. And what's cool is, like, if I own it, I believe, and chat correct me if I'm wrong, my friends can play it with me if if I host it, I believe. I think that's how it works. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's cool. Now that makes sense, and that would be cool because that's a way for you to share. Like let's say that we were into this game, and this is something we like to play a lot. Like you could buy one, I could buy the other one, and we can just take turns hosting and get to
Check them out.
uh, check
Yeah.
them all out. And then if you like it, you can pick it up to keep on your own, and vice versa. This is an amazing game. I had a lot of fun when I checked this game out last. I think it was last summer.
That's how we met
Uh,
Mash. It was
yeah,
Masher's very first Mash Daddy. Mash Daddy. Cool.
yeah. We got a co-host from this game, so we're eternally grateful, and probably should be buying every DLC that they put out. Right?
Absolutely. It's not $2.99 is what Kyle Kitching says it'll be. That's not, to me, that's not bad. It's worth it, and it makes them keep putting out amazing courses, right?
Well, they've been amazing so far. I do have a little trepidation with this one because it looks eerily similar to the thing in Summer Funland. Remember that tent you go into, and it's kind of
Mm,
like this Candyland place, and you're trying to like play tennis or whatever with lollipops and all this crazy shit going on in there, and it didn't work very well because of the physics. Um, I kind of get nightmares about that when I see this.
yeah, absolutely. Well, that was a cool world now, and it'll actually work well, and you can play miniature golf there. I think if you're playing on your friends' courses, though, you can't. If I remember correctly, you can't get the balls. You collect the extra balls and stuff. Like there's certain things you can't do, but you can play it, which to me is all that matters.
I wonder if we're going to be having like gobstoppers for
Mm,
the balls and smacking them with candy canes and all kinds of crazy stuff like that.
that would be cool. It'd be crazy, zany even.
Zany, yeah, some zany new DLC from Walkabout.
Onikazi says they need to do the course from Overboard. That would be pretty cool. Did they? I guess they did kind of show it a little bit as he was building it and stuff. That I did they really show the reveal like at the end of the movie? You saw that movie, right? Overboard.
Ah,
Goldie Hawn,
that
Kurt
yeah,
Russell.
I remember the movie. I don't remember a lot about the movie, so
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
why I don't
know.
watch TV or movies anymore because I've watched way too many in my younger days. A lot of wasted time.
It's never a waste of time to immerse yourself in. I'm sorry, I'm trying to fix my camera and
My
talking out of
thing
my ass.
is I love good stories. I've always loved reading a good book, good stories, whatever it is. So I'm taking a personal affront what Hollywood's done to my life in the last decade of shit movie after shit movie. And even the ones that are good, the plots are very rehashed, very basic. Like you don't get movies like we used to get. And I this is what I tell customers all the time. When I start talking like this, I feel like I'm like 5 minutes away from running out on my lawn and I'm going to tell some kid, get the fuck off my yard because it's a
What's a
little,
movie, bro? What are you
yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, it's crazy.
He says, is that thing they have like on Netflix?
Movie? What are you talking about? What's Netflix? I haven't seen a movie for so long. So.
Anyway, tons of great updates as we have detailed during this week's headlines, but not all positive news this week, as we have now noticed that Ubisoft has delisted Star Trek Bridge Crew from Steam and Oculus. Roots, I still have never played this game. It's in my library. I've never played it. We've been talking about playing it lately
GT.
with our friend GT, but it still hasn't come together. We haven't nailed down a date and time for that, and looks like tick, 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 tick. Time's running out. We better get in there and do it, huh?
Yeah, well, we'll do it sometime next year. No, just kidding. Yeah, absolutely. It did. I was reading an article and it said, I guess you can still find it on PlayStation VR and somewhere else. I can't remember exactly what it was. But we still have access to it. So we definitely need to get in there and check it out. I love this game. I've played it with Scion, gaming science teacher, and Mash was in there, I think, at some point. I think that's where I met Jim Hall. Played a game for the first time with Jim Hall was in this game. So I've met a lot of people and hung out in there. I definitely want to do GT as well. That doesn't sound good. You know who else wants to do GT?
My mom.
He's married. Leave him alone.
Well, for what it's worth, this game looks infinitely boring to me. It does not look fun at all. I'm not a Star Trek fan.
It's got strategy.
Nice strategy. Like, so does chess. Like,
I think you'll like it. I think the whole thing is like you get into real time situations that you might run into in real life, like when you're flying your spaceship and you come across the Klingons. No, it's a good game to really come together. And if I'm being honest, I need your help, Wes. I can't get past the last level as the captain because usually I'll run as the captain, and that's the one where they put all the pressure on you. And my thing that I feel bad about is I've never even played. There's an expansion, the DLC to the next generation. I've never really tried that much of it. I've always played the first one, never the second one.
to me, this looks like a game where you stay in one room for the entire game, and most of the gameplay is buttons and levers.
You may or may not be nailing it right on the head there. I'll tell you what.
It's a teamwork game, right? Like you have to press the buttons and levers in a certain order, and as the game goes on, you have a shorter and shorter time span to push all the buttons and levers.
No, but I'll tell you what is cool, and this is one of the things, and then maybe it's not that busy the server wise anymore. I actually, when I've played the most of this game, I played it by myself, and not playing by myself, but with randoms. And so what I used to do, because I don't really drink at all anymore, but I would have some beers, right? And I just drink some beers as I was playing. And then it got real fun near the end.
Yeah, I bet. This looks every bit as fun as what was the name of that game? A Rogue Escape. This looks like a multiplayer version of a Rogue Escape.
Way better than Rogue Escape. If just for example of what you get to see and what's going on, and there's actual battles with other ships, and there really is strategy and missions, and like you'll go into a place where you have to choose whether you're gonna bail out and rescue the people or take off. And I don't know, man. It's if you like Star Trek, which I guess you said you didn't watch, you'll enjoy it. But I think you would enjoy it at least from the multiplayer perspective.
Yeah,
but it's definitely
exactly.
better. Definitely better
Yeah,
than
exactly.
Rogue Escape.
Like I play a lot of multiplayer games that I enjoy, not because I enjoy the games, but I enjoy my friends, and I feel like I would probably have fun in this game because I like the people I would go into it with, and for no other reason than that, I'm down to try it out before it's too late.
Absolutely. Jim Hall says it was his first multiplayer experience. He never played it again. Good thing he bought the expansion. Yeah, it's definitely a good thing. And I think I may or may not have talked you into getting that expansion. It's worth it. You're gonna love the second thing that's about to disappear. The second game. So how long
Chris
do you
Richardson asks, what does delisting mean? You can't buy it anymore. Is it going to vanish from our library and not be playable like the Marvel game? That I would expect is the end game. This is the first step on a road that leads to the game not being playable. As it is a multiplayer only game, typically these games uh, they have a finite lifespan, and I think that this is probably. I mean, otherwise, why would they stop selling it? Like, if this is something they were going to keep online and allow local hosting for, and just let it people play it forever, then why would they stop selling it? I guess maybe it could be a licensing thing.
Mm,
Maybe their license for the Star Trek IP has run out. If so, then yeah, maybe the game does remain playable forever. But typically with these multiplayer games, when you start to see stuff like this, it's the beginning of the end.
it's money. It's money that's Ubisoft having to pay every single month to keep these servers up. And if they don't see that there's enough of an interest anymore, they're going to pull it and they're going to allocate that somewhere else. That's just business, right? Which is what I was going to say earlier. We are talking about games and stuff. That's one of the reasons why, another reason why multiplayer games can be, from a consumer standpoint, kind of sketchy, man. Like, this isn't the first game that I've had removed out of my library. I don't like that. You know what I mean? This is the problem with digital. And don't get me wrong, if I had a physical copy of Bridge Crew and I could plug it in, it ain't going nowhere with a no server, right? But still, it kind of sucks.
Onikazi says you can play this single player. You can play Marvel Powers United single player.
Not anymore.
You could play Starblood Arena, which was actually a great game. You could play Starblood Arena single player. Gone forever. And that one didn't even have an IP tied to it. Still, when that one went offline, it vanished from people's libraries.
The question is, that's shady to me. This question is, do you need the servers to play single player? You know, because that is possible. You got to log into all sorts of shit to get into this game through Ubisoft and a bunch of stuff just to get in. And if that's the case, it's definitely not gonna. If they're getting rid of it, then that's it for everybody. So.
A lot's been made over this. Hopefully, we get some kind of statement soon from Ubisoft so we know what to expect. Typically Ubisoft, they stick with their stuff for a long time. You can still play Space Junkies, right? Like they quit supporting that, but I'm still pretty sure that the servers are up for it, right?
I don't know. That's a good question. I thought they might have taken it down. Does anybody know? Let us know in the comments or chat below.
I think you can still play it. I'm not sure about that. I know that it had like a finite lifespan, but I didn't think it was dead yet, completely dead. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I was kind of that. Marvel Power United was one of the games I was thinking of. You know, I actually enjoyed it. It wasn't the game I wanted. I think I got it for $20. That was a $40 game. A lot of people paid $40. They should have left you to be able to still play it. Yeah. At least single player, but
they did so much right with that game, but they did so much wrong as well. Yeah. We did an episode on that. Go back and look into it if you're interested in what that game was. They made a big mistake by making the tutorial different than the actual game. So, like, when you're coming to terms with the gameplay, you play through this awesome arcade style level where you're going down city streets and taking out enemies as they appear. Everything that you want from a Marvel game. And then the actual game was nothing like that, which left people pissed off forever.
Yeah, for real. They could have made a really good game. So I think Maddie. Oh yeah, go ahead.
You know, Maddie Fat Batcat says I was in there a few months ago. It was lonely. Yeah, that's something I feel like we should organize at some point because Space Junkies is actually a pretty good game. We should raid it one day and just fucking get a bunch of people together and go in there and remind people. Well, maybe we stream it. Remind people that that's over there. You can get it for like dollars now, and um, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%.
Anyway, we are finally starting to near the end of the headlines, but before we do that, let's just remind everybody real quick that the VR MMO Ilysia assures everyone that development's going great, guys. Just in case you were wondering,
Hey, we're
Ilysia's
still here.
over here.
We're still
Yeah.
here. Don't forget.
Well, they did unveil some new avatars, as you can see there over the last week, and compared to the Zenith avatars, I think these actually look pretty good.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Now they have something legitimate to compare or compete against. You know what I mean? When Zenith
Right.
dropped, there was really nothing. Orbis, okay, so like piece of shit versus whatever. You know what I mean? It's good. And don't get me wrong, Zenith is amazing. But maybe this game drops and Zenith is like, oh my God, this is the thing. That's why I say when you have a MMO RPG like AAA one like World of Warcraft or something come into VR, I predict it right now. It's over for all of these ones. It's just over. And so they need to get up on it because all of these, I guarantee they're working on it. It may take a couple years, but
here's the cool thing. Now that we have seen how successful Zenith has been, what a successful launch it has had, we can now kind of narrow things down to two potential situations that Ilysia's in. One, maybe they're in the situation where they have a game that's a lot better than that, and they're like, "Oh man, we're totally going to kill it when we launch." Like people are going to, abandon Zenith and come to Ilysia in droves. The other situation is that it's not as good as Zenith, and now that we have seen the success of Zenith, you can guarantee that Ilysia is going to be a lot better than it would have been based on what Zenith has done. So maybe the map's not as big. Maybe they make a bigger map. Maybe they refine a bunch of gameplay deficiencies, and make them better. And maybe they recognize some of the weaknesses of Zenith and decide to make those the strong points of this game. I'm really kind of interested now in what's going to happen with Ilysia now that Zenith kind of has put a blueprint out there for people to work off of.
yeah, absolutely. Jim Hall says that I make a lot of guarantees, and I said I'm a snake oil salesman. I guarantee it all, bro. Guaranteed.
Guaranteed, man.
I don't. This
Confirmed.
this is the thing. I do feel like that. I see so many things. Like how some people have vision on a lot of things. In so many ways. I see horizons of things that are coming, good and bad. And I'm telling you, I guarantee you that this is one thing I can guarantee. It's not a big enough space for all of these MMOs. Like Wes said, one comes out and it's better than the other. You're still going to have the one. It's just not going to. It's going to be very, very slow. It's just not going to. It's for, I guess, lack of a better word. So you have something that's AAA that people already love. The thing that they're dreaming of getting into VR. It could be Final Fantasy on the, which it probably will be on Sony. That's what everybody's going to want to play. They're going to go into that one, and they're going to stop going into the other games as much. I've seen it on every other MMO that's out there. VR is no different. So,
and with regards to Ruuts' guarantees, I can't speak one way or the other on the accuracy of them, but I can say this: he's pretty good at picking the point spread on the Super Bowl.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I wish I would have gone to some Super Bowl party. You know how you can like bet what you think the score is going to be, and you win the big prize or whatever.
right.
Yeah.
You would have had it, bro.
I would have had it. I could have bet. I didn't feel right.
Anyway, we have finally made it to the bottom of this list of headlines. Jeez, dude, it's taken forever, but we finally made it to the last one. New maps, new guns, new enemies, and more for After the Fall's Frontrunner season revealed. This coming to us via the PlayStation blog. A lot of this stuff we already knew from from an earlier post on the Steam communities, but a little more detail gone into here. And damn, I'm looking forward to this, man. Even if it is only one more harvest run. They're giving us 2 new maps to play horde mode in. They're giving us a new snow breed to kill, and even one new snow breed mixed into the mix here is going to make a huge difference. God knows what it's going to be like. You know what I mean? How it's going to attack, what its weaknesses are going to be, and 2 new weapons. One of which they've yet to reveal. One is this revolver that you're looking at right here. But the other one, they're being kind of sly about, like they don't want to reveal it yet, which piques my curiosity even a little bit more. Makes me wonder if it's going to be like a melee weapon or something.
Yeah, that would be cool. They need it. They need it real bad. You need to have something in your hand, like when you run out of. Well, I don't know, man. I guess the whole thing is management of bullets, right? You take that away, and you're just now slicing and dicing. I guess it could be it's a trade-off,
That's
right?
it's kind of the double-edged sword with that revolver there. Like they say, it packs a punch. Like it will put your snow breed down when you hit them with it. But you're trading off with a limited ammo capacity and frequent reloading if you use that. So it's going to be interesting to see just how powerful it is. I knew the first edition was going to be a revolver. It's kind of the obvious thing with zombie games, right? It's kind of a trope at this point where zombie games. This is the mark Rick has had on zombie culture. Like every zombie game has to have a revolver. And the reason why is because of Rick.
Yeah, everybody loves Rick, man. The skimmer. That's what it's going to be. The skimmer. It sounds cool. I want to know. This is. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, any variety that they add to this game, any new anything to it, it's already great. So, like, this is just icing on the cake.
Yeah, absolutely. Onikaze says, "What if you had a gun sword? That would be amazing."
Sword, bro.
Chain sword or chainsaw. I want to know. This is my thing. I'm really glad to see this update, but I want to know one thing from the developers, and hopefully they're out there listening. You can address this in the comments below. I've seen this. I don't even know how many times, Wolvie, have you mentioned it in the Discord, and for months. When are they going to fix? And maybe they did fix it. This glitch, right? The door glitch. I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it. I stopped playing the game. Is it fixed? Okay,
it's fixed.
Because
they patched it out like a week or two ago.
Because I thought I saw him mention it like a couple days ago.
But it was a little bit longer than that. It was a couple days after he mentioned it that they fixed it.
Okay.
So it is fixed.
Yeah. Because that was like a cheat, right? I mean, it really didn't affect me because if I was going in with people that aren't cheating, I don't care. But it does kind of defeat the whole purpose of playing. To cheat.
I don't know, man. It would have been a kind of easy way to level up, right? Like just glitch through the door. At least you would have that failsafe. Like if you were about to die, like all 3 of your teammates were dead and you're running from the horde, instead of doing the 30-minute kite like Eric did on our live stream, you could just glitch through the door and hit the button, right?
It's true. You did it.
So,
I don't
think we didn't really do it.
I don't think it would feel as good, but
maybe not. But it would be some consolation. Anyway, yeah, it is fixed. They did address that in a recent update. The one,
good.
It was the same update that fixed a lot of the stuff with the PlayStation VR version.
Okay.
Which, by the way, it's a tale of 2 communities, right? Like this is pretty popular on Oculus, pretty popular on PC. For some reason, well, I guess we know for a lot of reasons, not so much on the PSVR. And a lot of people are playing it, but I see a lot more naysayers on that side of the fence.
Yeah, it had its issues, and sometimes it can be if you have enough issues in the onset, right? It's hard to come back from. So,
hopefully they continue to improve upon it. Apparently, it's way better now than it was at launch. And I don't know. I bought it on PlayStation as well. Maybe I'll jump back in there at some point just to see how it plays now. It was not good. It was not good when I played it on PlayStation.
But Pablo says a friend, Kyle Kitchings, showed him the glitch and he was not impressed. Oh wait, I threw the Kyle Kitchings part in there. I don't know if it was him or not, but I just wanted to stir their friendship pot up a little bit.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that glitch until like Wolverhazen mentioned it in the Discord, and I've never seen it actually in the game.
I have no idea what it is. I don't know how you would do it. I wouldn't even begin to know how to do it. I don't like to cheat. This is my thing. I would just rather not play. If I'm going to cheat at something, then what's the point?
Right.
Cheaters never win.
So, well, I mean, in this case, cheaters won every time.
Well, they lost in their soul. That's what it means.
My question is the people that were exploiting that, do they get to keep all of their loot? I bet they do. I bet they do. And the thing about that is you know, I forget what the horde mode maps. They're letting you use your upgraded weapons. Like you can't take your upgraded weapons into the PvP arena, but these new horde mode maps, you do get the advantage of using your upgrades in it. So,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Be careful when you go in with a random group. I think somebody was telling me they went in with a random group and they literally didn't know what they were doing. They lost their guns because they picked Nightmare, and I don't know. Can you imagine?
This shit's expensive. I'm almost out of harvest now, just from what is it they call that when you stacking? You know, the people I like to play with for the longest time there, they like to stack, and it's expensive. It's an expensive thing to do on Master. So I'm almost out of harvest now, just from stacking and keeping up with these people.
That's one of the reasons why that kind of turned me off about the game. It's my version of picking up sticks. Everybody's got to buy all this shit and track it back and forth, back and forth. You do so much management of that. Like, how about balance everything a little bit better so I don't need to do that shit? Because it's a balancing issue. If I got to drag off these things through the course, that's not the way the game is designed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's just not fun.
That's not the fun part of it. And it really does deter me. That's the one thing that makes me, every time I think about going in, I'm thinking, I don't want to pick up sticks. Now you got it in my mind, Wes.
Well, here's the good news, Roots. If you go in there with me, I don't play that
You
anymore.
don't stack.
Like I'll buy enough stuff to where like I can make one trip. Like I'll buy 4 extra, but that's it. Like I'm not moving friggin' pile of bombs and needles. Like that's not what I went into the game to play for.
It's just such a weird, I mean, and it's funny because you just have to gravitate towards that to survive, right? So.
Well, here's the thing. So much attention and effort is put into that it can be distracting. Like you're constantly wondering where's the bomb, where's the needle, and oh yeah, now there's a horde on your back that you didn't see coming because you were looking for the shit you brought with you, that which by the way glitched into the snow and you can't see it anyway until you stick your hand over it and it highlights it. So like you're putting yourself at a disadvantage at the same time that you're giving yourself an advantage, and it kind of negates itself anyway.
Yeah, just take the door glitch. Oh shit, they took that out.
Yeah. So and then you spend all this time moving all this stuff, and then you get killed, and all that time was wasted, and all that effort was wasted, and you know, literally some of the sessions where we were doing this in, like we probably could have did twice as many runs with that same amount of time if we had not been doing that and wasting all that time. And yeah, I'm not a fan of it, and I'm glad that they said that they're taking measures to mitigate that. I think that they just made shit more expensive for everybody, which
that doesn't help.
I mean, I guess, but yeah, let's hope that people abandon this as a tactic soon, because it is. I'm like Roots. It kind of dissuades me from wanting to play it when people play like that.
Yeah, and if you're the developer of After the Fall, also remember Gambit is on your heels, bro. That thing might drop and be so amazing, and because that's such a similar type of game, draw people in, right? So they need to get it straight fast.
Jim Hall says the game also looks so repetitive. After the Fall is trash. So by saying that it looks so repetitive, he kind of tips his. He's never played it, bro. You can't. You got to play it. Like it is repetitive. It is very repetitive, but it's very fun. It's It's an arcade style gameplay loop that's very addicting and very fun if you're not carrying piles of bombs and shit with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, yes, I am excited for Gambit. Good call, Roots. That game has a lot of potential to scratch a lot of these very same itches.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, we're at the bottom of it. We finally made it to the headlines, Roots. Let's run through these featured stories so I can get a little break before I have to go to work. Yeah, featured stories. Let's go.
We were just kids last I saw you. And now I've got Arthur in my ear saying give me a chance. Good men on in short supply. But I'm not Arthur. How do I know you're anything but a traitor? It's Churchill's dispatch box, stuffed with government secrets. And God forbid it falls into the wrong hands. Which is where we come in.
This story coming to us courtesy of GMW3. And for those of you who don't know, that's Good Morning Web 3, the website formerly known as VR Focus, which completely got made over recently. Anyway, Doctor Who, the Edge of Time developer Maze Theory, initially revealed plans for an officially licensed VR version of the hit TV show Peaky Blinders back in 2019. This past week, the studio revealed a new trailer and announced that the game will arrive this year. The game will be authentic to the show, featuring existing characters fully voiced by the original actors, as well as new characters that have never been seen before. Like the show, The King's Ransom is set in Birmingham's underground world during 1920s England, and it will feature dramatic cinematic moments forcing players to, quote, make meaningful and complex moral choices to earn their place. Iconic locations such as the Garrison Pub, Charlie's Yard, and Shelby's Betting Shop will appear throughout the game, and as an added extra, players will be able to unlock Easter eggs to learn even more about each character's history in the show. A specific launch day and supported headsets have yet to be announced, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't already so that you can be sure not to miss any future updates. Roots, are you familiar with the television show Peaky Blinders?
I am, because Wolf Raza says that he loves it. Other than that, I have never heard of it, but I don't watch anything anymore. Wolf Raza says heavy interaction or really immersive Telltale game, and I would hope if it was supposed to come out 3 years ago that it's got some kind of interaction and it's not a Telltale game, because it's taken a long time for them to get this thing out, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've been working on it a while. Well, I mean, I don't think they've been working on it any longer than any typical high quality VR game. They've been, what they did is that they announced it early in the development cycle, which is something typically developers don't do. They tend to wait until it's a little closer to launch. So yeah, we've known about this absolutely forever. And from the looks of it, it is pretty high quality. They are focusing on highly detailed environments and dramatic cinematic sequences in the game. It is not an action-packed thing from the looks of it. It is more of a game of strategy and choice, and a lot of fan service from for the fans of the show. But the good news is that it's an all original story. It's going to feature characters from the show that are voiced by the actors on the show, and introduce new characters into again what is a fully original and made for VR story game. So yeah, I'm not very familiar with the show either. What I am familiar with was Doctor Who: The Edge of Time, and wasn't a fan on launch of that game. But it was all technical stuff that I think that they've since come to patch out. I don't know, because I never went back. My experience with that game was extremely negative. It was pretty, like it was very good looking graphically, but I mean the interactions were a complete jank fest. So if this did turn out to be like a Telltale style game, we know why, right? Like, because they're not very good at the other thing. So that might be something they're a little more well suited for, is this type of game.
Well, I'll be curious. I'm not a Doctor Who fan, so I didn't really care for the first one either for the same reasons. But if I was a huge fan of the show, a lot of people loved it. So even Dee is saying this. She loves Peaky Blinders. That Tom Hardy's in it. I don't know who Tom Hardy is. Is he Batman? I have no idea, dude.
He's that guy that was on stage right before Jim Ryan came on stage.
Oh, I don't know who that is either.
You know who Jim Ryan is?
Well,
bro?
no, I know who Jim Ryan is, but I don't know who the person that came on before Jim Ryan.
Right. It was the guy that introduced Jim Ryan.
Okay.
Right.
I'll have to, yeah. But
anyway,
I think this looks pretty good. I mean, it looks like it could be a pretty good story, right?
Well, this does look cool, and what I do like about it is that the scene and setting, like 1920s England, the kind of the gritty underbelly of Birmingham. Sign me up for that all day. Like that sounds great to me. In fact, it sounds so cool that as we approach launch on this, if this continues to look like something I might want to try out, I might start watching the VR or the television show just in kind of a preparation for the launch of this.
Yeah, me too. I did the same thing for Westworld. I really enjoyed the show, and the fact that Dee said it's good.
She said no, that's Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Okay, Tom Hardy, Tom Holland. I got to age.
Tom Hardy.
I knew
Tom Hardy was in the Venom movies, right? Like he was that guy.
I didn't watch any of those. This is the thing. Like I know a lot of people say they do, but I really, really checked out decades ago. So, for the most part, like I feel like I'm still in the mix for watching Breaking Bad and what else? Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So
I watched Game of Thrones. I've been watching it lately. Actually, watched it today.
I love that. That was a really good series.
Yeah, I'm totally with you though. Like I don't know a lot of this generation of new Hollywood new stars. Like I know some of them. I know who Tom Hardy is and who Tom Holland is, even though I did just get them confused because of my my children kind of being into that the whole Marvel universe. But but for the most part, I'm just I don't hear about these people until they say some kind of political thing on Twitter or something, and that's how I learn about who these people are. So
yeah, I like the old saying of just keep politics out of it. You're there to be an actor. Entertain me. Dance, bro. Dance. Gaming gamer chick sliding in there. I didn't even see her. Well, she hasn't been here the whole time. What the hell?
Hey, what's up, Tiffany? Good call, Roots. I didn't even catch it. How's it going? People are now giving us Tom Hardy's full film credits.
I gotta go. Here, let me write these down. I gotta go watch these movies tonight.
That's all right. We know all we need to know, and that is he is in Peaky Blinders, and we will know Tom Hardy well by the time we get done binging this apparently good television show.
Westworld was so good. I should probably go back and watch the second season.
Yeah, instead of playing Peaky Blinders, let's just go finish Westworld Awakening. Like, we know that's good.
Yeah, for real.
Kind of the example for this type of game, right?
Very yeah, dude. If it's anything like this, this game is anything like that, this will be really good. So,
anyway, we're getting into a Netflix conversation in the chat, so we probably should move on. We do not have a launch date or supported headsets for this one yet, but I'm sure that is information will be forthcoming in short order. And like I said before, make sure you're subscribed for future updates.
Welcome to the island of La Calma, a docile place that harbors one of the most rare forms of life on our beautiful planet. A creature the islanders call the monster.
Publisher Devolver Digital has a history of bringing unique games to the VR library, with titles such as Serious Sam and Gorn already under their belt. This past week, they teased their next entry into the VR library, and this one's a bit different from those that they published during VR's first generation. Coming from developer Fire Punched, Tentacular will see players take on the role of a giant octopus. And rather than smashing cities and causing terror, you help humans as they investigate an unwieldy new power source. At first glance, the game's diorama like layout may lead you to believe that this is an environmental puzzler in the vein of Ghost Giant, and to an extent that may be true. But a quick look at the game's trailer reveals something that has become a defining feature of Gen 2 VR software, and that is physics based gameplay. Tentacular is coming both to Quest 2 and PCVR via Steam later this year. Again, be sure to hit the button and the bell so that you can stay informed when the official launch date is revealed. Roots, I saw some screenshots of this early last week or the week before, and I had literally zero interest in it. Like it's super cartoony, like it didn't look like something I was going to be very interested in checking out. But then as time goes on, I see more screenshots. I see some little bit of gameplay footage, and I start to realize that this game isn't at all what I initially thought it was going to be. And this is going to be a kind of a physics-based puzzler with a diorama layout, and it's going to have some story basis behind it. I'm not saying that it's guaranteed to be good, but it's certainly an interesting take on a VR game that we haven't really seen anything like this yet.
Well, Tech has a good point. It's got McDonald's in it, so right there, you had me. You're fine. You're good. Chinatown says this has Mash Daddy written all over it, and that was my exact thought. I was like, "Oh, dude, Mash! I can't wait to hear him talk about this game. I think it could be really good. It could be very unique, physics-based puzzler, right? Like, who knows what you're doing as this octopus? You're doing puzzles to try to help these people. You know, it's definitely a unique take. It's a lot better than a diorama with a story where you're just like opening the things and looking in and listening to the story. It's an actual puzzle game. So that does give me some hope.
Right. It's like a Ghost Giant type game, but it takes a lot of the emphasis away from just watching and listening, and now you're actually interacting. Right. It's kind of like they took Ghost Giant and mixed in a little bit of Curious Tale with it.
Yeah.
Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets. Both of which, by the way, I enjoyed. So, yeah, I'm interested here. And again, Devolver has a history of bringing these unique games into VR. This is a sharp left turn for them, although they are just the publisher, and we should be clear about that. This is coming from a new developer, Fire Punched. But I am interested, slightly interested in this, and I look forward to seeing more as the game approaches launch.
Onakazi says Tentacular will be a gamer, or I guess a cult following with the hentai crowd. So basically the VR chatters, which I don't see the correlation, but I'm sure it's there because I trust Onakazi.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's an angle there I don't see, but okay. Dark Angel says, "Oh dear, a puzzler." I know, right? It's like the new thing. Puzzle games are the new zombie game, I think.
Well, I'll tell you what. I hope it's not a chore because Gerillo scared me earlier in the Discord about Wander.
Well, I'll tell you what Gerillo was talking about in the Discord is he was basically talking about the most challenging puzzle in the game. There is a method to it that you can, if you figure out the method to it, it's not that difficult, but I could see where a lot of people would just randomly be pushing buttons on it, hoping to get it right. And that would get very frustrating very fast. So yeah, I get it. But again, what he's basically talking about is the key to unlocking the final scene of the game. It's like, it's not something that you see a lot.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm not as scared anymore. Mash wants to know what he missed. He said garbage of this. No, this is Tentacular VR. So
isn't it funny how quickly the what is supposed to be the champion of standalone VR in our community has quickly become this like snobby PC VR guy?
Oh, it's funny.
It's ironic, isn't it?
It's ironic how everything's that's what I was saying. Things are shifting and changing, even in our sphere of what we consider to be good or bad or acceptable or what we want out of VR or whatever. A lot of it's personal, right?
I mean, we just went on to the Quest 2 stream a few days ago and talked about PlayStation VR for most of it. Oh man, yeah, Quest sucks, man. Sion was right. Like
It's dead. It's
all
dead, bro. It's only
yeah.
67% of Steam usage, but it's
Yeah,
dead.
right. It's a great PCVR headset.
Yeah.
That's our excuse.
Yep. Mash says
No,
in his defense, he's the champion of good games.
there you go. That sounds like a very Derulo thing for you to say.
He says, make a good game and not a cash grab, and he's right there promoting you.
Right. No garbage of the sea, bro. No Tentacular, apparently.
This could
Cartoony graphics.
This could be amazing. It's the beef of it, right? If it's like got a good puzzle or a good story, good narration, it could be really magical, really cool. It could also be really
Ghost Giant?
crap.
I'd be curious to know if Mash played Ghost Giant. What he thought about it.
This is I'm kind of curious too. I would love to play it. Mash, pick it up on the Quest. I didn't enjoy my Ghost Giant experience as much because I played it on PlayStation VR and there was a little weirdness to it. And it's one of those games that I keep reminding myself that I would actually like to play through the whole thing, but I would never do it on the PlayStation VR version because it was just too weird. Right. So.
I did play through it completely on PlayStation VR, and I recently picked it up for Quest 2 because it was
on sale.
It was part of a bundle, like on Fanatical.
Okay.
Paid like $8 for a bundle, and it was like one of the games.
Mash said he did buy it and play it, and it was super deep. You know who else likes it super deep?
My mom.
Yeah, she does.
I do. All right. So apparently this one didn't hit with Mash Daddy. Let's move on to the next one. See if he likes this one any better.
I am the 223rd High Priestess of the Grand Holy Shrine Daijingu, Haru Kosei. I am the Shrine Maiden who summoned you to this world, the visible world. In short, this must be fate. There is no doubt in my mind that you must have been summoned here to save me. I have very good intuition, you know.
Well, during last week's headlines, we revealed that Amada, the studio behind 2019's Last Labyrinth, has announced a new action-adventure game called The Tale of Onogoro. At the time, we laughed, as no other details were revealed at all. But in the days following the initial tease, a bit more information has come to light, as well as a new trailer. In development for the Quest platform, The Tale of Onogoro is said to combine traditional Japanese culture and steampunk elements, letting you solve puzzles and battle giant kami beasts with Japanese High Priestess Haru. Players will wield celestial weapons to help Haru deactivate the divine boundaries and quell the kami. Although Last Labyrinth released on all major VR platforms simultaneously, it appears that this will not be the case for Onogoro. The trailer features heavy meta branding, and support has not been mentioned for any other platform. The Tale of Onogoro expected to arrive on MetaQuest platform sometime this spring, priced at $30. Roots, a lot of questions about this game. Every question about this game last week, because all we had was a title. Now we know a little bit more about it. And one thing I can say is that this game will not be The Last Labyrinth. This is something very different, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a puzzle game, looks like. Although Labyrinth was as well. This is definitely anime inspired, right?
Very well. I mean, it says that it's incorporating a lot of traditional Japanese culture into it, as anime does. So yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know, man. It's intriguing to me. I definitely, again, a lot of stuff here that's unique to this game that we haven't seen a lot in VR. This game could be great. It could be boring. I'm seeing a lot of cool looking gameplay concepts. I'm not seeing a whole lot of locomotion, although there does appear to be a little bit there. I don't know, man. A lot of questions about this one. Certainly looks good graphically. Certainly a fantastical story that it appears to have here. There's a lot of promise here, but again, the proof is going to be in the pudding with this one.
yeah. Oh, it'll definitely get a following right off the bat from people that love anime. Hopefully, it'll be good. If it's really good, it'll be good for VR, right? So,
well, here's the good thing: is typically when we get these anime style games, they're very limited, not only in content, but they're also very expensive. Like typically, these anime games are $50-$60, and this one right off the bat's telling you this is $30, just like Last Labyrinth. Actually, Last Labyrinth was 40, if I'm not mistaken, for a while.
at the time, it felt like 50 because, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like the pricing wise, 30 is actually reasonable now, you know?
Okay, so we've appeased Mash. He says this one looks pretty cool. He likes the art style, so we might have a winner here, Roots. We did it. We got one in.
We did it!
Hey, I'll tell you what. Chris Richardson says he wants a Roots guarantee. I guarantee I have no idea where this thing's going. This is not my bag. If I looked at it and said, how's this game going to go? I'd say it's not going to do well because I don't like it. It could be amazing. But there's such a big following. Dude. That is cool. If it's a good, I mean, it could be amazing. I don't know. I thought Last Labyrinth was pretty cool, except for, like you said, the end, or the end parts that you had issues with. So
yeah, I think they have a lot of stuff going for them here in the right direction. I think a game like this is all going to come down to things that don't come across in the trailer. Like it's all going to be about the gameplay. Like, is the gameplay fun and intuitive, or are you just put in this pretty world with a great story and a bunch of janky controls that don't work? Like, I think that's really what it's going to come down to here. I think it looks pretty cool, what they're doing here, and it sounds like the gameplay loop and the story seems to be pretty well thought out. So, and again, very unique stuff. We don't see a lot of stuff like this in VR. Certainly, not with a lot of gameplay to it. We see a lot of stories with this kind of art, but not a whole lot of gameplay. This appears to be a game that you can play, and it's about half the price of typical anime titles. So I am interested in it, and I'll look forward to learning more.
Yeah, be cool.
In a world under industrial attack, I created you, my little sproutling. It may seem like an impossible task for you alone, but don't worry. Time is now on your side, and that changes everything. Use time loops to grow in another place. And look, your previous self remains to help you out. Team up with yourself to take those greasy machines down and save us all. Clones, you are part of me. We are connected. We are nature. We are one.
Coming later this year from Flathead Studio, We Are One is a unique VR puzzle shooter which manages to feature team-based gameplay despite being a single-player game. Summoned by nature to defend the Earth, you'll use the power of time travel to create past and future versions of yourself with whom you can cooperate to achieve your goals. According to the game's Steam page, every action you perform in a time loop is precisely replicated by a clone of you in the next loop, and you cleverly have to plan ahead to cooperate with your clones across time loops to fight back against greasy machines. Experience a variety of levels with new twists and challenges for you and your clones to overcome. If you want something done right, do it yourself. We Are One is coming to Steam and App Lab later this year, Q3, but there is a free prologue available to play now. And again, for those of you who subscribe to the Patreon, I've got the Flathead Studio homepage linked in the notes so that you can easily access this game on the free prologue on your platform. There's free version on Steam and App Lab if you can find it on App Lab, it's on there. Again, linked it up in the show notes for those of you who are kind enough to support us. But anyway, Roots, unique, and we see again puzzlers kind of seeping their way into everything. Even this shooter is a puzzler because of the time play aspect of it. And I just got to say, man, maybe you shouldn't have said all that shit about past Roots and future Roots because now you have to team up with them
Oh my God.
in order to defend the Earth, and you've kind of burnt bridges that you shouldn't have burned.
Yeah, well, that asshole. No, you know what? I'll tell you what. I think we can all come together and collectively, schizophrenically do it together. This is cool. My first thought, I thought this was co-op, and then as you're watching, you're like, okay, no, this isn't. So, like somebody said in the chat, meow meow, the gamer cat is just transposed with guns, and I guess transposed was pretty cool, right? Do you remember that game?
Yeah, I didn't play Transpose. I remember the game. I remember it reviewed favorably, but I never played it. So yeah, if this is the type of game that Transpose is, then maybe I should play it because I think this is a super cool concept.
Transpose is a super different puzzle, just like this. You know, you're using time. You're having recreations of yourself doing stuff. You have to coordinate with other versions. I think you'd really like it because it's very puzzle driven. I mean, it's all puzzle. So it's cool.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a tactic that I used in Super Hot a few times where I had trouble. I had trouble like beating a certain screen or a certain level in Super Hot, and then I realized that you're kind of moving through the same map, screen by screen by screen, and they all link together. So I would at times like toss myself guns from one level to the next. Like if I had a gun after I beat this level, I would toss it, move into the next level, turn around, catch it. Now I'm starting with the gun. And it seems to me that's what this really reminds me of is that you're kind of working with yourself, kind of stacking this type of concept on top of itself until you are able to progress through the level.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you got to play with yourself well. You know who else likes to play with himself well?
My mom!
Well, who doesn't like to play with themselves in VR? So this game already has a leg up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like they did a focus group study to decide what kind of game they should make. And their focus group came back and said, apparently people like to play with themselves in VR a lot. And they said, I think we could work with that. And then they put this game together.
Well, first they put that together a game and they said, dude, this is on the Quest 2 for families. And then they made another game where you play with yourself. And then this one actually made it to market. You know, Wolf Raza is downloading the demo, he said already. As a matter of fact, halfway through the thing, he said, available now. I'm downloading it.
Yeah. Free prologue available now for Quest and PC. Everybody gets to play except for our friends on PlayStation VR. But this looks cool. I mean, if you can get around the obviously terrible Shell shaded graphics, which I'm being facetious, by the way. I think it looks pretty cool.
I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, yeah, this looks cool. I think this might be the one this week. Like this is this is the winner out of all of the featured stories. This one looks like it has the most potential, just as a fun like gameplay. Like I mean, maybe Peaky Blinders turns out to be great. Maybe Onogoro turns out to be great. But this just looks like it's fun. Like the game concept looks fun to play.
Yeah, and like Wolvie says, it has a gun, yo. What about Tentacular? I noticed you left that out of the mix. It could be amazing.
Did I? Oops.
For MASH.
I think Tentacular might be good too, honestly. Time will tell. Meow Meow the Gamer Cat says, yeah, there are awesome super hot videos like that. Dude, I thought I was the only one. Like I thought I was being clever.
Well, you were, because you figured it out on your own. You didn't watch it in a video. Right?
Yeah, true that. Tiffany says, Wes, AJ likes transpose, so it was good enough to override his general boredom with puzzles. That's true. AJ does not typically like puzzle games, so if he likes transpose, it must be decent at least.
Yeah, I think you'll like it. For real. So,
anyway, I think this looks cool, and with that said, that is going to wrap up our featured stories of the week and put us into the week's reminders, which we're going to kick off with an announcement of who won the Anshar 2 Hyperdrive giveaway. So we were going to announce the winner live on Sunday when we were originally supposed to air this show. But after everything went to shit and we had to cancel the show, I did notice that the winner was in chat. So, I mean, good on you. You know who you are, for sticking around for 30 minutes after we went off the air. But I went ahead and announced the winner there. So if you're wondering if you won, you didn't win. But I will go ahead and announce for everyone to know who won. We decided the winner the way that we always do. Well, my wife did again. So wife went through the comments, assigned everyone in that entered a number. She then went to the random.org random number generator, which gave her the number 28. Number 28, of course, associated with Thomas McNostril. So congratulations, Thomas, on winning a pretty awesome game. And thank you to the 30 people or so that entered the giveaway. Again, another popular one. It seems like our giveaways are starting to pick up a little steam.
Any new names? I'm curious if any of the audio people came on over.
I don't know, to be quite honest.
Guess there'd be no way to know.
Handled that for me.
Yeah, there'd be no way for us to tell anyway.
But you know, we've been giving away Anshar for a good month now, so I'm glad that that somebody I recognize ended up winning it, and hopefully, you know, if it wasn't, you know, if the audio people didn't enter, that's on them. At least they had an opportunity this time, thanks to our friend Ruuts here and him being so considerate. So
yeah, well, that's such a good game.
So,
and I wanted them to have a chance. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Sorry.
Anyway, good on you, bro. Hope you enjoy it. It is a good game. You know, Chi-Town D, Kyle Kitchings both attesting to this in the chat there. Oh, what's up, Steve? I didn't see that Steve had snuck in. Virtual Steve, how's it going? Thanks for stopping.
He said it was very hard. Yeah,
transpose was very hard.
That's
you know
good.
Who loves things that are very hard though, Ruuts?
My mom!
Yeah, the harder the better. And you know what? It's kind of funny because when it comes to puzzles, that's right up your alley. So again, a game that you should try.
Steve says, I need to win some VR games. I still need to play After the Fall, Demio, and Zenith. Good God, man. You do need to play those. And speaking of Demio, we've got some cool Demio content coming up later this week. Be sure that if you haven't already, that you're not only subscribed, but make sure that you have enabled the notification bell. Cool stuff coming very soon with regards to Demio. Wolveraza with the $3 donation says, do penguins have knees? I don't know. Do they have knees?
I don't know, but you know what's crazy about that question? I'm going to be thinking about it. Like in 5 hours, I'm going to be laying in bed. I'm going to be thinking, do penguins have knees? You son of a bitch, Wolvie. Thank you for the $3.
You know what the even weirder thing about that is that reading that comment just made me recall that I had a dream last night about penguins, which is kind of weird.
That is weird. You and
Yeah.
Wolvie, bro,
Like
your minds are connected.
I had a dream that I looked out the window and like the weather was all friggin' weird and there were penguins in my yard. Like,
Ooh, that's
yeah.
an omen.
So
Wait, hold on. Did they have knees?
I don't remember. Damn it!
Damn it!
Should have
I
written
thought
it
you
down. I should
knew.
have written it down.
I figured maybe there was a reason you had your dream.
Steve says he's saving his money for Elden Ring, trying to get
Oh.
VD set up to play it on Quest 2. You know who else has VD?
My mom!
Oh my god, now I'm worried. This is the thing. I'm actually excited for Elden Rings too. It's gonna be cool. I think. I hope.
I don't know. A lot of people are hyped for it. I know that. So
Well, Derail
long
is
to wait
hyped
now.
for it. So yeah, soon.
Well, Derail's got his pulse, his finger on the pulse of flat gaming. Like he knows what's up. So
Yeah, he's the one that actually suggested we do the flat gaming channel because he wanted to post all that stuff because he really does follow it. Like he could have his own channel for flat games.
for sure. Anyway, Derail runs a couple of the channels on our Discord, doesn't he? Like he's got the hardware locked down. He's got the flat games locked down. Awesome Virtual Strangers Discord invitation in the description below. Be sure that that you come join the party if you haven't already.
You could be the next Derail. You don't even know what that means, but it's a good thing.
Yeah. Let's turn our attention to what's out this week. Not a lot out this week, but we do have one really cool looking game that's finally launching.
I don't have a trailer.
We didn't have a.
Yeah, I don't think we had. Yeah.
It's all right. That's all right. We've talked
Skip it.
enough about unbinary at this point that people know what's up. This is a brand new launch trailer that you're looking at here, by the way, as this game is finally launching, not only out of Steam Early Access into full release, but also launching on the Quest 2 store this Thursday, February 17th. This is coming from Ludact. This is a story-based puzzle game that features all kind of like this hand-painted art style. It's a puzzle adventure. It's another puzzle adventure, but this one looks especially cool and unique. And lots more to come on this tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it looks really cool actually. I can't wait to check it out.
So yeah, this game coming on Thursday. We're going to be by the grace of the developer Felipe at Ludac. Thank you, Felipe. We're going to be covering this in the way that only we do tomorrow night on Strangers in the Night. I almost called it virtual show. Strangers in the Night tomorrow night. We're going to be giving this one the exclusive treatment. So be sure to tune in for that. Cool plans lined up for Unbinary, and you guys will know by the time this launches exactly what you're getting yourself into and whether or not you want to drop your hard-earned money on it or not.
Yeah, absolutely. Dark Angel says so many puzzlers, highly unusual. Yeah, well, it's kind of like shooters. Everything goes through a stage, and apparently we're hitting the puzzle stage. So,
well, this one you get a snarky AI that you get to communicate the whole time. Who doesn't want to hang out with Webby?
for real.
Anyway, again, be sure to tune in tomorrow night for Strangers in the Night. We're going to cover this one thoroughly, and by the end of the show, you'll know exactly what this game has to offer.
Yep, absolutely.
With that, we move on to our wish list segment. This is the segment of the show where we ask all of you to please take a moment and join us as we do our part to support the awesome developers out there by wish listing a game or leaving a review. Both of these very crucial, especially to smaller developers. That really helps get the word out on their games, really raises their profile. There's a reason why these people constantly ask us to wish list and review. It's because it's important. And when I look down the list this week, Roots, I think we are one. We are one. The time loop puzzle shooter that we just talked about a moment ago. That's the winner for me. That's the one that went on my wish list. I'd be interested to know what all of you are going to wish list this week.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that because that's exactly what I just went to in Wishlist as well. And I'm gonna try to download this the demo, the prologue,
Oh yeah, that's right. Free prologue, fully playable right now.
as long as I'm in there,
Uh,
right?
yeah, yeah. Again, just go to the show notes and you'll see a link that says Flathead Studio. If you click on that, then it'll take you into like a list of the platforms, and then you can link from there to pick up your prologue on whatever platform you want to play it on. I assume PC. You can probably just search it on Steam if you're going to PC. That's really more for App Lab people so
Mm.
that you can find it.
I went to Steam and I just finished downloading the prologue, so it's quick,
Yeah, awesome.
quick and easy.
Anyway, be sure to let us know in the comments down below. I don't know why I keep saying that. No one ever tells us. I don't know. We could be the only ones actually wish listing stuff every week because no one ever tells us what they wish list. It's a very rare thing. Hopefully, you guys are at least wish listing out there and doing your part. Because you have to listen to me talk. I mean, you might as well do it, right? You listen to me talk about it every week. You might as well actually get on there and do your part.
Absolutely.
Anyway, with that said, that we will move on now to our final reminder this week and every week, and that is how you can support us here and help grow our fledgling VR channel. And of course, the most important thing that all of you should have already done already: click the big red button, click the bell, make sure you subscribe with notifications on. It's a two-way street, man. It helps us to grow, but it helps you to stay up to date with all of our awesome content. So be sure you've done that if you haven't already. If you want to do something more, you can by supporting us on Patreon, where only $3 per week will give you access to the weekly show notes, exclusive updates, exclusive content, all for less than $1 per week. And along with all of that comes the peace of mind of knowing that you did your part to help grow our community and our channel. So thank you to all of those out there who have recently joined us, as well as the longtime supporters on Patreon. We appreciate you all. Shout out to Techno Glitch. Sorry we don't have you on the outro crawl this week, but D, we did find a way to kind of shoehorn you in there. So stay tuned. We did find a way to modify our existing outro so that we could get D on there, and hopefully we'll be able to get Techno Glitch on there tomorrow. But thanks to everyone who supports on Patreon. We just talked about the Discord. Do you want to know what's up with hardware and flat games? Well, Derail will keep you up to date on that. And then we have about 20 other channels for VR. So be sure to join us on our Discord if you've been looking for a nice home with good people that you can share your gaming interests with and other things about yourself. We have a nice tight knit group on there that I wouldn't trade for any other community in the world. So there's an invitation in the description down below. Be sure to take advantage of that if you haven't already.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing group of people.
Yeah, yeah. We might even should invite Past Roots on there since
I need to work
since
with
he's
them.
going to be. Yeah. We need to kind of mend those bridges and build a rapport so that we can do well in the prologue that you just installed.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him. Hopefully he answers.
Virtual Steve says, I like these 3D rendered logos. You guys make these? Nope. I commissioned someone via the support and help from our people on Patreon, as well as the people who contribute with Super Chat. We put that money to good use and went to Fiverr and hired some very talented people out of, I want to say Indonesia or someplace like that, someplace overseas, someplace far from here, who gave us a fair price on very high quality work. So shout out to what are their names? Control A, I think is what they're called. Control A.
They were cool.
On Fiverr. Yeah, they've done all of this stuff. Uh, the the overlays that you see on every scene, they did that for us. They did the intro animation. The you know the all three of our intro animations were done by these people. They're very good, and very reasonably priced as well. So shout out to them. But no, we didn't make these ourselves. Some professionals from overseas did it.
Hard workers too, man. Like we'd get stuff to them, they would work on it quick, and they were very professional. So
yeah, it takes some work to kind of work through them what it is exactly that you want, because they're in a different country. It's a different culture. They do speak English, but it's not their first language. And you know, the good thing is that they have a good work ethic. They're willing to make numerous iterations, and eventually you end up landing on what you want.
Yep.
So they did a good job there, and eventually they got something pretty close to what I had in mind here. So
eventually this tuft of hair is not going to be all weird and all.
beard oil, bro, beard oil.
Yes, I need beard oil. Actually, I got some. I just need to use it.
Anyway, I got to go to work. So with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Roots, I'm Wes. We will see you tomorrow. Don't miss it. Bye now.
Take it easy.